just holds your heads up.
Louder. Do it louder.
Tap her on the back.
Do it louder.
No, she heard it. You can't. I have to. Excuse me. Unmute.
Gotcha.
Hi. Welcome to the November 12th, 2024 DDA meeting. May it now come to order.
Nice.
There we go.
Jim Knight,
Present.
Vera Woodson,
Present.
Harold Van Arnhem,
Present.
Brian Rosen,
Here.
Alan Costello,
Here.
Cole Devitt,
Here.
and for the record, Haran Ali Burton is not present yet.
We're going to approve the agenda. Does anybody have any additions or subtractions to the agenda? Is everybody awake?
So moved.
Okay.
Second. Great. You can do it all in
Is
favor.
it an action
You
item?
can do all in favor.
All in favor?
Aye.
Anyone objection? Okay. What's next?
Public comments or any partners that are in the audience that would be able to
We have
provide.
one partner coming up right now.
Great. So we can do a mixture of. So with 2 minutes to speak as public.
Okay. Hello, good afternoon, everyone. I'm Daphne Antoine with Sister Cities. I just would like to come here to share with you all that we had a very successful Do Good Del Rey event where we honored the sister city relationships that we have. And it was a lot of fun and the community really received it really well at Arts Warehouse. The Tuesday event, we saw about 70 or so people. And in that Friday event, Grace shared with me there was about 200 people that got to expose to our exhibit on the way that we honor our sister cities relations. But the reason that I'm here today is to get the yay or nay on the size of the board that I presented last time for the Visitors Bureau, as there were so many people that were interested in sister cities, and I think it would be a wonderful opportunity if we could definitely get the size that's approved for, so we can go ahead and get it on the board as we are entering, we are well into season, as we're getting tourists and people visiting our city, that they should know the connections that we have, that because the other cities are very, they display their sister city relationship very proudly, just like Pompano. As you enter Pompano, you know that who they're affiliated with. And I think it would be a wonderful opportunity for us to have a sign in our Visitors Bureau to let people know about Del Rey's diversity relationship with our 4 sister cities.
Yeah, go ahead.
I am very thankful that you have brought this information to us to collaborate and to expand the knowledge for the visitors that come to our city. I'm not certain that we should be the ones that are approving the size of it. Mm-hmm. The visitor center was just painted, so my suggestion would be to work with Laura and her team to determine what is best suited for the space that is available in there. I went in there after it was painted. It's beautiful, but I wouldn't want to be the person to say, yeah, stick it right there and take all of that down. Okay. That's not, I believe, our role. Okay. I think you'd be better suited to work with the team and make that decision happen.
Okay, perfect.
I'm waiting for you because you pulled the mic close to your mouth.
I know. You're the board. I'm going to speak after you. Go ahead.
Yeah. I would just say, I think we're talking about an 8-11. What were the sizes?
It was 8 by 14, and then it was I forgot. And the other one was 16 by 20. Yeah, 11. Yeah,
11 by 17 is our recommendation.
I mean, it's 11 by 17 is not a very big sign. Again, I've been recently following the Sister Cities is Delray Beach's oldest committee board.
Yes. Yes.
So, and again, everyone's about celebrating the history, and I think it's always about getting outside of our pond and being connected with these great cities, whether it's in Haiti, Italy, or Japan. I think, is a positive thing. So, again, if there's not room on the wall to put an 11 by 17.
It's very tight, and I think that's our recommendation, and it's very similar to, and we can look at it again now that we've, changed some things around there, but the historical exhibit that's there too, from the Historical Society, all about that same size framework based on the size of
What
the
size are
400
those?
square foot visitor center.
Yeah.
that
What
we
size
have.
are those? What size are those?
They're smaller than 11 by 17.
But there's a whole bunch of them. Yeah.
again, the space on the walls in that location is very limited. So I'd like for us to go through it and we can look at it and make some adjustments. But I think that's, initially what we recommended based on the spacing that we have. So we can go back and look at if there's a way to increase it or based on what the information is on the sign.
Yeah, and that has to be approved as well.
Yes. So we can work with them and let you know what is determined.
Okay, perfect.
Okay.
And also, we're looking forward to celebrating our 40-year anniversary. So once we have that up, then we, to be able to, because there's a QR code, so we can start letting people know about the history of the sister city relationship we
great.
have. Yeah. All right. Thank you, everyone, for your time. Make it a powerful
Thank
day.
you.
Thank you.
I enjoyed the presentation at Old School Square you guys did. I hit a little bit of it. I know it's a bit of an all-day thing, but it was great.
Hello and good afternoon. My name is Ted Hoskinson. I'm with Roots and Wings. It's a nonprofit organization that helps children read and honors teachers. We're in 15 schools, but we're in every one in the Delray area. So this is where we started. This is where my home is. And I'm here just to mention to you that I've been involved for the last couple of years with this wonderful, what I consider to be a wonderful organization called Beatles on the Beach. I've never, I've gone to the events. I've seen the crowds. I've seen the people going into the restaurants. I've been one of those guys that's gone into the restaurants because I want to eat before I go to the events. And it's the whole week has just been, the last couple of years, really been crazy. And in terms of the numbers of people with the positive comments that they talk about, in my opinion, from Delray Beach. And as a nonprofit that has benefited a couple of times from a couple of different events that he has had, we helped them with the drummer that used to be the backup for Ringo Starr, and the guy was selling his drumsticks, and those drumsticks were going to help our kids read. So, it's not just that he's in the community trying to build the awareness and having wonderful events here to help bring people to our city, to see our beautiful city, but in my opinion, the benefits, the side benefits of having all those people come, and yet he's giving back to the community, at least partially to us, to help our kids and our teachers by the money that he raises, that he gives back to us. So I just wanted to say a couple little words and say how proud I am to be a member of the Delray community, and it's where my heart is. So thank you for your time.
Thank you. Thank you for all your work.
Hi there, I'm Kate Johnsons, and I'm with the Delray Beach Public Library. I'm also here to speak in support of Daniel Hartwell and his partnership request for Beatles on the Beach. And I bet a lot of you don't realize that we do a number of programs to complement this at the library, because a number of the artists that he brings in have books. And we've had amazing author talks since the time that he started this, not only benefiting from the people that come in from outside communities, but also this is a very popular subject with our Delray Beach residents and patrons. And there's only about 1 million books written about the Beatles, which we are always very popular in our demographic. As well, we service the venue that shows the movies on the Beatles. And it's not just the movies that you would think, the couple that that were made, like A Hard Day's Night or Yellow Submarine. There are many other people who have done movies about their influences and other things. We look forward to its programming every year. We usually do it for 2 or 3 days before people come in. All this programming is free. Daniel, is a masterful marketer, as we do know that. And we love the fact that he brings in new people every year to the library, not only from our neighboring communities, but around. So we heartily look forward to this. And it's more than just a one night, a couple days of a concert. There's also a lot of other programs. Thanks so much.
Hi everyone, Stephanie Emmelman, Delray Beach Chamber of Commerce. I wanted to give you an update on the Delray Fair. The merchants on the 500 block requested to be included in the 2025 footprint. They were not originally included because that goes against the city's new special event policy. However, Laura spoke, I spoke, several of the merchants spoke at the City Commission last week, and what they've requested that we do is go back through the original process. So we've resubmitted our map and our application, and the CTAC meeting is this Thursday. So we hope to have good news after that. So I just want to give you an update. We're continuing with our workforce initiative. I spoke to you guys about this earlier this year. Healthcare is our most recent vertical. We held a job fair in August. The city held a job fair in August that we assisted with. And it was followed by a field trip from Atlantic High and Village Academy students to Bethesda on October 25th. And then they went to the chamber for presentations by Delray medical personnel. The next vertical is hospitality, and the DDA is involved in planning a job fair on January 8th, and will subsequently have a field trip for the students later next year. So we'll continue with our efforts for this year, but we're happy to have the DDA as a partner in doing this. Also, We Are Delray is our annual fundraiser. It's Thursday night. We expect to sell out, so you have to get your tickets early. It's Thursday at Throw Social from 5:30 to 8. It's our largest fundraiser of the year, and it's also our Business of the Year awards. And last but not least, we also support Beatles on the Beach and everything Daniel Hartwell does, so I hope you look favorably upon that as well.
Thank you.
Hi, good morning, everyone. My name is Maria Adebato, and I wanted to share my family's experience in moving to Delray Beach 2 years ago. We came here, we visited Delray a number of times, and we saw the vibrance of the community, the live music and the camaraderie and the entertainment and all of the things that were available here. And 2 weeks after we moved here from New Jersey, we went to the Delray Market on a beautiful Saturday morning, and we ran into someone dressed in Sgt. Pepper blue sparkly sequin suit with a woman in her red sparkly sequin suit promoting Beatles on the Beach. And when we left that conversation 45 minutes later, we knew why we were really here, to be part of something amazing, something that brought community together, which is music and events. And meeting Daniel Hartwell has been pivotal in our happiness here in Delray, because he's connected us to so many people, business-wise and personally, that we've just had the best experience. And it's made it really wonderful for us, and it's brought a ton of people to the community, made it like a music event destination, much like Asbury Park was in New Jersey for us. It's just amazing to be here, and I wanted to share that with you, just to let you know the importance of what it means to us as a new family here, and how the impact of it has made us tell all of our friends to come visit us. And it just brings everyone here to shop and eat, to enjoy each other and connect people together, which is really important today. And I just wanted to let you know how important it was to us. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Hi, how are you? My name is May Rose Adebato. I'm the daughter of Maria Adebato. And I'm here also to echo her sentiment, but to add a few more things about Daniel that I think are extremely important to recognize. Because I view him, not only me, but most people in this community view him as such an asset to not only us as people, as friends, as like a music family, like we're all musicians, but he also has such a focus on the bottom line and the economics of what's actually happening in our community. And I want to speak on that a little bit. So early on in my time here in Delray, me and Daniel had a lunch, and we were talking about marketing and promotion. And I learned that his entire life is promotion, marketing, believing in the events that he makes, and making sure with every fiber, I know I speak a bit in hyperbole, but it's true. He makes sure that if he has an event, that every single person he knows about that event. His posts on social media get tons of content. His primary driver is to make sure that he has an audience that he can market to again and again and again. And as somebody who, I have a passion for marketing, I also study marketing, and he is the embodiment of somebody who has studied the process of like, know, and trust. When you do sales, it's very important that people like, know, and trust you, or else they're not going to purchase. And when we think of that in the context of Delray Beach, and he has an event like Beatles on the Beach, or one of the, I would say, thousands of events he has. Every time I speak to him, he has a million other events happening. With his ability to immediately create this environment of, oh, I like Daniel, I know Daniel, I trust Daniel. Every time I go to one of his events and I speak to the people there, I go, oh, well, how'd you hear about this? Or how do you know about this specific event? Oh, through Daniel. Oh, I know it through Daniel. It's always, it's my time. I just want to say thank you so much for your time. I believe in Daniel, and I'll speak about him every day of the week if I had the chance.
Thank you.
Hard act to follow. Congratulations, that was great. My name is Tom Markert. I live at 918 Lakeshore Drive in Delray. I'm also a sitting commissioner. I'm here to support Daniel as well. I think the Beatles on the Beach program is one of our quintessential events. And I know as a city commissioner, having spent time with Laura, we have some challenges this year that we're all facing. And to me, this is a really important event, and I think we have to find a way to cooperatively work together to find solutions to make this work, because this is one we got to keep, folks, in my opinion. I also, when I was with Daniel last week, learned a lot about the promotion business that I was unaware of. And he gave me a very simple example of where we fall a little bit short sometimes in Delray. I went to a Panthers game last year for one of the playoff games, and they make money coming and going at those events. As you pull in, it's $60 to park your car. That's the starting point. The tickets were hundreds of dollars. And then you go in, a slice of pizza is $20. A beer is $18. You just can start to see like their business model is all encompassing. And when you come into Delray, it doesn't quite work that way. I mean, you pay for your ticket, yes, but the food goes to the merchants, the parking goes to the parking people. And so, we're really left with, like, right now, just the tickets. And we did spend some time brainstorming some other ideas. I won't bring it up because you'll yell at me, that we potentially could work on to put more events inside of Daniel's events that might bring in more revenue. And I think there's a kernel of something there that we do need to explore. But this one is important to me, and so certainly I'll work with you as a commissioner to try to make sure we can keep this event alive and well. Thank you.
Thank you.
Talk about tough act to follow. I hate public speaking, as some of you know. So I've written a bunch of things out, and it looks like that's a lot about me, so I'm not going to change things. But I did want to credentialize myself. First of all, thank you guys for hearing me. I'm a 7-year resident of Delray Beach. I live at the Hamlet Seagate Country Club, or Golf Club as they now call it. I am the founder of Best of Delray Beach, which is a restaurant directory, a nightlife directory, and guide for businesses in town. We have 49,000 people on our Facebook group, 12,000 people on our Instagram, and we service 300,000 people a month. That's our reach right now. So a lot of businesses come to us to promote their businesses. People exchange ideas there. They seek services and recommendations. And what we basically have created, which was the intent, was to create a trust network that people was not like Yelp, not like Google, where our community and everyone just for the community could contribute, and that people would be facing the community in their recommendations. So I know Daniel partially through that, but I wanted to qualify myself. I also came from the entertainment business, where I produced about $2 billion worth of film production in movies, TV commercials, music videos, and then my company. I did not produce myself, but we did Woodstock 25, which was my first sort of close look at music production and promotion. And that was quite an event, being on stage watching Crosby, Stills and Nash with 1 million people in front of you, and 70,000 people backstage. But with Daniel, go ahead.
Your time.
Oh, it is? Oh, I'm sorry. Oh, Stephen Dickstein.
Okay.
Well, I didn't even talk about Daniel yet. Can I ask for a little bit more time, guys?
Can I get your name, please? I'm sorry.
Stephen Dickstein, I'm sorry. This is the first time I've spoken here, and I didn't realize the rules. Can I have
Another 2 minutes.
Thank you. It won't be as long-winded. It won't be about myself. You cannot overstate the amazing professional job Daniel has done producing and putting on shows here in Delray Beach. Live music is the most challenging part of production. So much can go wrong. Getting it right is a miracle of professionalism. Adding to that, putting a multi-day festival on like Beatles on the Beach with infectious energy and tireless enthusiasm is truly a gift to the town that is felt and enjoyed by everyone. I've never seen anyone work harder than Daniel Hartwell. He does a fantastic job for his community. Simply stated, Beatles on the Beach is a world-class festival. My best of Delray Beach clients, including all our hotels, restaurants, and many merchants in our fine city, they are all excited when Beatles on the Beach festival happens. They benefit from the increased heads in beds, restaurant reservations, and more, while also connecting the world-class music festival that brings joy to the entire town. West Palm Beach has its Sunfest, Fort Lauderdale has Tortuga Festival, Delray Beach has Beatles on the Beach. We're looking forward to all of this happening right here in Old School Square. Supporting Daniel and other incredible local leaders doing great civic-minded projects is one of the things I love about Delray Beach. We're all very, very proud to have this musical event here. Thank you, and thank you for the extra time.
Looks like no other comments. I don't see any of the other partners here, so we can move to new business.
Okay, we're at 2A.
Yes, 2A.
2A. Okay, so that is a request from.
So we have
There he is. All right, Max.
2A, which is the concourse grant request, which is our placemaking grant.
Are we doing both separately?
Yes, we have two different items.
Okay.
Hello.
Max, you have something you want to say?
Thank you for your consideration, all of your past support. I emailed anything I could have possibly emailed. We have built a really strong team here. We actually brought on 3 more board members this year, including Bob Cantwell here. They're all well-known community leaders. They're professional event people, and we've really built this into something in the 4th year now. It's beyond expectations. We knew we would get there one day. It grew and got established much quicker than we expected, but very pleasantly so. We do a lot for the nonprofits. I sent you the letters that they asked me to share with all of you, showing that their impacts are local, very focused, and very established over the years. So I think it speaks for itself. So thank you for your consideration.
Okay.
Can I ask some questions, Mr. Chairman?
First, I want to make sure we know we're talking about the $2,000.
Yes. I did my homework again.
Okay.
Max, we received a few emails from you, and in talking about the event, I've asked Laura I think we need to do some soul searching, because I'm all pro Team Max. For any event that you do a world-class job. You definitely know how to market. You have a world-class team behind you. But one of our missions is to make sure that West Atlantic area is activated. Your event takes place east of Swinton. And I asked Laura during our meeting how much funding is going towards the east that we're giving away and how much funding is going toward the west. One day we won't have to have this discussion, but because it's one of our missions, I want to make sure that we're not depleting all the funding for one side of Swinton for the other side of Swinton, because our dire need is in the west, obviously, and you are aware of this as well. So I guess my question is, because you've come to us, I think this is year 3 that I've been on the board. This is my 3rd year. You've come to us each year asking, do you see a point in which you will not need this funding for your events in the future? Are you at a point where it starts to slope, where there's no more coming to the DDA? Or is it you see this as a potential way that you're partnering with us? I just want to get your understanding of what this money is in terms of the annual request.
I see this as growing in a partnership. As a lot of the other events that are similar to mine in other cities have a much larger impact from their DDAs. I'm not looking to make this specific event that crazy as some of the other cities. I do see an increased partnership, maybe not monetarily, but something much more stronger and formal in future decades. But just to big picture it, we do 3 events a year. The bed race is super small, carries out the underutilized neighborhood mission. Delray and White, which is a new one. We've been working on it for 2 years, but it's a new one. My mom did that one in West Palm for 5 years, very private. That one we're not asking for any funding. In fact, we're paying. And that one, actually, we brought in the set to include them. And I did personally, off record, help, on record, assist and met with the set to help them with their grant application with you. And the future goal is to do a street painting festival in Artist Alley. We really want to cap it at that for big annual events. Other little things that have nothing to do with DDA throughout the year indoor. But that would be really it. This one has legs to stand on. We do want a larger formal partnership of some sort. Maybe not the same as the Beatles request. That's maybe a decade away. But yes, all of it goes to charity. Especially this year with the change in commission, we have some balancing to do because of the policy change. They capped it at 8,000, not understanding the difference of events and event producers. An applicant name on a. I read your email. So that was it's a balancing act right now. Instead of us writing a bigger check to the city cashier, we're writing a smaller check to the charity. At the end of the day, it all goes to local. So it's.
Thank you for your explanation. I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yeah, a couple quick questions. What are the organizations for this event that it benefits?
Specifically Concord?
Yeah.
Is Delray Citizens for Delray Police, Delray Fire Benevolent, Community Classroom Project, Achievement Center, and Charlie Fund.
Right, and those are all Delray Beach.
They're all Delray Beach, and Charlie Fund just got its Delray 501c3.
And how much money are you making on these events?
0.
Okay. And
people call me crazy for incurring personal stress for no personal gain except friendship.
And about how much more expenses are you now incurring based on the new city policy between arrange?
This year, with the improvements that the city and us, my team worked on, about 10,000 is going to be non-waivable by the commission.
All right. I'm just trying to get.
Cool.
I have
Harold?
no questions.
What questions?
Jim.
Just to follow up on Vera's comments, I'd love to see some events happen west. You know, how do we not just getting the money there, but get the events there sooner than later? And is there a way, and everybody who's doing any events here, any way we can push them west? I'm sure I would be certainly up here pushing for additional dollars and so forth to actually have the events west of Swinton in any way, shape, or form. I know a little while back they talked about even utility boxes and painting them up, putting the wraps on them and so forth. It's now in like 7 more towns since we had a discussion 3 months ago about it. I mean, 3 years ago. Well, no, I'm just talking about recently, 3 months. It's been going on for years. And so even if we can put DDA money and then have some of those wrappings done out west on the utility boxes, I just drive through. I mean, you get off at the, I was over in Naples and getting off 75, hits you right there in the face as soon as you come off. Boom, there's, good looking utility box and so forth.
We all want that, but I want to try and stay focused on the concourse.
If I may.
I'm going to do this now, and you get a chance after me. Okay. So first, we're talking about the $2,000, and the $2,000 is supposed to be for an event that is west of Swinton. However, the concourse is an exceptional device for promotion that goes further than just Delray. It's a national event. The 44 other events get big press, get big promotion, are very successful, and your event's been really great. I'm concerned about the size of it because it's going to continue to grow. And I think that when it grows and outgrows Old School Square, going west, you say no?
We want to honor the loyalty of a location.
Well, I understand that, and we run the Old School Square, and I'd like to see it stay at Old School Square. But perhaps a larger event justifies a larger area, say, along West Atlantic. We have places there that could operate an event twice or three times the size that the Old School Square can do. We have some vacant lots. So I think that might be a possibility. But for right now, although you're not on the west, I think that the benefits to the city, and they just read right like our mission statement, to build the economic and diverse business community. So I would like to say yes to the $2,000, and that's my recommendation. Do we have any other recommendations from the board on that? Forgetting whether we go west or east for right now, I'm asking if anyone has anything they want to add before we do vote.
I was going to motion to approve.
Do we have a second?
Second.
Then can we have
A vote.
Cole Davids,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
Yes.
Brian Rosen,
Yes.
Harold Van Arnhem,
Yes.
Vera Woodson,
Yes.
Jim Knight,
Yes.
and for the record, Aaron Alliburton is not present.
Okay, that's
Thank
part
you.
one. Now we go to 2B,
To be.
the second part. I'm just going to start it off, guys. This event is larger than it purports to be. Okay. Excuse me for that. We end up with 4 days worth of use of the Old School Square property. Although we don't have a huge team on it, we do have at least one staff member that's full-time with you as you're building out, setting up, and actually the day of the show. I want to make sure that the DDA recoups its costs involved in the 4-day setup and operation of the show. You are a nonprofit, so that cuts down the costs of rental of the Old School Square property in half. And we have a different schedule for setup charges, which is an even more reduced rate. So if everyone here is up to date on what we're talking about, okay. So for the second part, for 2B, I'm recommending, before you guys start, that we consider one full day for the operation, which at half the price of our normal $6,000 rental, which is $3,000, and then we have a setup fee schedule of $750 a day that I think we should charge for the 3 days of actual setup, and then for the 1 day of the actual event, a half price for being a nonprofit of $3,000. So that's my suggestion. Now I will turn it over to someone, if anyone has anything to add.
So just so I understand what you said, what was the amount of money you didn't want to go to the profits, and you wanted the non-for-profits, and you wanted the DDA to have for the staff?
We have a schedule for.
But what you said there was a number.
Our price for rental of the Old School Square is $6,000 for the day, but we have a reduced rate of $3,000 for a nonprofit. This is a nonprofit, so I would like to see us charge no more than $3,000 for the day of the concourse. However, the concourse takes 3 more days prior for setup, at which point we have staff that's on site during the whole time, and we also have staff that's there on the day of the concourse. So recouping our costs is what's important to me.
5250.
Yeah. So I understand. So basically, again, I totally get what you're saying, and just speaking my part, and I agree with the thought, but I don't think taking it out of the people that are working with us, non-for-profits, and again, we put in there that we have the ability to waive more, that Laura does, but non-for-profits that are not taking $1 towards management and every dollar is going into our city, that's not where I want to recoup our costs. I want to recoup our costs on for-profit companies that are renting it and making money. I think that's, and again, we're being paid city money to manage it. So for us to manage and not recoup profits on money that's going directly into non-for-profits in our city, that's where, like, those are the ones, if we want to put it into writing, those are the situations I'd like to support in general versus waiving a bunch of costs, because I don't know how many days Beatles on the Beach is. I've got some costs here, but it doesn't seem to add up to what you're saying as far as our costs, that were presented. So that's my thoughts.
If I may, real quick. So I drafted the request letter for you based on all of your requested criteria, plus more. And there is a line item in there, number 3, that shows our low impact on DDA staff. It was Victoria, pleasure working with her. She's always amazing. But it was really, as a supervisor role, our team did all the work, all the heavy lifting. She was all there. So if I would be willing to, I think it was $650. Can we do the $650 per the 4 days or the
Max, can we not negotiate
Yeah.
first and let the board speak? Because I think you're going to put yourself in a deeper hole than probably what you'll come out with. I've reviewed this, and Matt, you sent a wonderful email about me saying with the foresight that we set a precedence when we make these decisions. And I want to somewhat use my school education background to go along with your business acumen and a little sprinkle some of my business sense in. You were blindsided by the change in policy from the city. It came during the process of you already having planned for this event. And so we need to take that in consideration, that you were given an extra fee that you were not necessarily booked and budgeted for out of nowhere, because the change in policy has an adverse effect to your desire to give to our community. But I do want to say that here again, this word precedence, because when my colleague is speaking about nonprofits, if we do for one, we have to do for all. So I'd rather us not look at it as nonprofits and making a blanket statement. I'd rather it be we're looking at this event, because this event sees over 100,000 people in the time that you have these 4 days. This is huge for us, and the number of restaurants that benefit and the number of services that benefit, Uber, parking, restaurants, sometimes hotels. These are all impacts, and then we see the impact of people who come and visit us and say, you know what, and I just went to the Palm Beach County Tourism meeting, and they said what they do is they advertise, people come, they visit, they come back, and then they buy real estate. Case in point, these people showed up. I'm also sitting on the board. I'm here as well. Same scenario. So it works. The marketing works. But I want to make sure that we are looking at how much this impact from the city is to your event and then working from there. So we can satisfy what you already had planned and take that deficit and work with that. Because listen, making sausage is not pretty, but everyone loves to eat it. So let's work on the sausage, okay? Let's do the ugly part right here, and let's figure out what the number can be. So don't throw out a number. Remember that in any negotiation, never give a number first. All right, so what was the cost impact from the policy change?
We're down 10,000. We're asking for 5,000.
Okay, so you're looking for 5,000 from us.
The 2,000 grant, the 3,000 waiver.
2,000 grant,
So a
$3,000.
$2,000 check out,
So
No-
3,000 total.
No 3,000 check in
So we're looking for $3,000 total
for this
For
line
this
i- for
port.
this agenda item.
3,000 of expenses and 2,000 of a check. 3,000 of
Because in the
expenses.
past, we were not charged for the setup days.
Right.
It's Grimes coming in and yeah.
Okay, so can I ask Laura for her professional thought on the setup and the impact to the bottom line? If you can help us with that.
So to Max's point, so we do have supervisor on-site supervisor role, which is there to check in, oversee both on that Friday, because this is a Friday, Saturday setup, and a Sunday event day. And then any loadout on that Monday that potentially just for closeout of the event. So there will be obviously staff expenses there. So we did have a small, I think it was $1,500 last year that Max, the concourse, paid for the event. So that was then, he also did receive the $2,000 placemaking grant. So the $1,500 went to the Old School Square, and the placemaking grant went to offset, I guess, that expense.
Money, it was paying yourself back. Kinda.
Two different,
Yeah.
basically there's
Understood.
two different organizations.
Okay. All right. So,
So but to your point on the setup, it is overseeing, and it is minimal, but it is a person. So whether it's myself or Victoria or Alex, whoever on staff at the time that needs to be there, and then during the event we need to be there as well, as we oversee.
okay.
pre-
So there's a
post.
personnel impact that we're talking about, and that is the $3,000 that remains from minus the $2,000 we're giving to you from the grant. You said there's a $5,000 deficit. Am I right?
They're separate.
So it's separate. So
You can't-
so the venue rental and any basically the venue rates that we have cover or offset the personnel operation expenses for the Old School Square. So the venue rental of the space is really the waiver, what he's asking for right now.
For the entirety of it.
Correct. So that would be the 3-day waiver.
All right, just so we're clear.
Which comes to how much?
The concourse is a one-day event, but
yes,
it takes
but the setup
4
days. Yes, but all those people that come in to help set up are still impacting our city.
Listen, the DDA has a unique responsibility to improve the business environment of
it.
the East and West.
Got it.
Every event we do is a benefit to the city. Every event brings in people, feeds them cheesesteaks from my restaurant. I'm a grateful guy. If you ask me, do I want to be good to these people? The answer is yes.
Yes.
I hate to charge them anything. However, we have expenses, we have responsibility. We have a city that has an agreement with us that wants a percentage of any profits, should we ever make them, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. Yes, we have to pick and choose who we give benefit to and who we don't. It's not a clear picture. When I hear it from Brian, it sounds absolutely right that this would be one of the premier events, and we should certainly consider that. And that's why I have no problem giving the $2,000 grant, which is our full grant. And if the board wishes to
waive.
concede the same waive, I'm one member of the board, and I'm not trying to take the money from the concourse. I'm trying to protect the integrity of the Old School Square rental and setup fees.
That's
and
why I was
how to move
asking.
forward. So, I thought it was more minimalistic to charge, if we did, 1 day of the rental for the property, which is $3,000, and then no rental for the 3 setup days, but the $750 setup charge to cover our expenses from our employee.
And I was looking at it differently. That's why I had the questions that I had.
Okay.
Because if Max is doing this huge event, he's not taking a dime. He's been hit with a penalty from the city, has to pivot and adjust. What can we do to ensure that, because next year he has a choice whether he does it here or not. I'm not saying he's going to get the same red carpet treatment, but I'm saying he's in the midst of planning and got hit, blindsided by this cost. And so now he has a cost here and then a cost that he was willing to pay last year, but now can't seem to absorb it. So do we want him to then consider another city for next year and say, I can go where the terms are more favorable and get the same impact from the same people of South Florida?
So are you in favor of waiving all the fees?
In my heart of hearts, I say yes.
Can I make a motion?
Wait,
at this
I'd
point?
like to
Oh,
speak
go
on
ahead.
this
Yeah,
too.
please, unless anyone has
I
anything
think
to say.
the economic impact outweighs probably the cost in this, but we need to look at this as a bigger picture in regard to. There's a reason we have a discounted fee for nonprofits, as they're already getting a discount. So if we want to reconsider maybe removing the fee for nonprofits, then that's another alternative, because that's what's going to happen. Every nonprofit is probably going to come in and say, I want my fees waived.
My only answer to that is so long as that non-for-profit is not taking $1 and every dollar is going into City of Delray Beach non-for-profit charities, I am in to make that an agreement. But a majority of non-for-profits take money for staff and management.
Correct.
He does
Up
not.
to 20%.
So if we want to make it possibly to look at it and say that's a condition, that's something I'm happy to look at. It's not for all non-for-profits, just to be clear.
Okay, let's just hear from Harold, and then I'll let you make your motion. Harold, how you doing?
Is this mic on?
No, I'm pretty much
Okay.
aligned with
Right here, Mike.
Okay.
If you have anything to say.
I'm pretty much aligned with what Cole and what Brian said.
Okay, so
Jim, do you have anything else?
Big Al, can I just
You bet.
weigh in for a second?
Sure.
And I think Cole hit the point on the head. You all, and I'm gonna say some things you said in a different way. Whatever fees that the city is now charging, it's a policy decision by the people who are responsible for making that policy decision. Whether or not it was within his timing or not, it was in the city's timing. It's their responsibility and duty to make sure that whatever fees they charge are commensurate with what they are able to do, which is what you all did with these fees that we're talking about here today, and what Cole said with the 50% already discount of the fees for nonprofits. So your policy is your policy at this point. You're always able to change that, but I would caution you on continually changing policies, because you're going to not allow people to understand what you all stand for, which is what your policy is designed for, to show the community what you all stand for as far as what you are charging for use of these facilities for-profit and not-for-profit businesses. It is a business. I'm not sure if you're requesting to audit the books following the event to make sure they didn't take.
That's something I'm open to discuss, and I think Max is okay with that as well. Actually, I think he's providing it. It's something he's providing as part of it.
I'm not sure if we have that's additional cost to review it, because I'm not an accountant. You're not an accountant.
If I get something from a certified accountant showing someone's numbers, I'm feeling
a certified accountant.
Yeah.
Is that
like
what we're going to ask everyone to do? So you can't just do this for one group.
I understand.
As far as the direction you're going to give for different things, you can do that, but it's not feasible. You do have discretion in this.
Right.
Your discretion has dictated what the policy is right now, and you have the ability to look at it, what you're looking at it right now. And just want to also say that what you do here doesn't necessarily reflect what you're going to do in the next case,
Quentin,
in the following case.
Quentin, I understand exactly what you said. I agree with Cole, and it's because basically it's the same thing I said, so of course I agree.
Of course, yes.
But just like the city has LDRs, just like the city has zoning requirements, just like the city has variances, even though they've got requirements, they do variances all the time based on many different reasons, based on need. In this particular case, we have, I think, a triple win, maybe even quadruple.
I'm not debating
I'm just
the
saying
point. I'm
that
just
if
giving
you have
you
to have grounds for variance, these are the grounds, I think, that make us proud.
I think he said the same thing. You guys said the same thing.
No, we
Go ahead.
didn't.
Clear it up for us one more time, Quentin. One more time.
A
Sorry.
variance, without getting super technical, it is a quasi-judicial item. This is not quasi-judicial. So
Well,
you
it's
have
not a variance. We'll call it.
Let me finish.
Let him finish, please.
So you have discretion, and it just has to be reasonable. And there's many things can be considered reasonable. So I don't want you to use words that have a different
Gotcha.
meaning.
Okay, well, forget the word variance, guys, and I'm sorry. However, the DDA's mission statement is different than the city with its LDRs and stuff. our mission statement and building and improving the environment for the business of Delray Beach, and I think this covers it in spades. And I hate to be, I'm not a lawyer, so I can't speak legally.
No, that's fine. That's fine.
The bottom line is I don't disagree with anyone on the board. I see both sides, and I think someone needs to make a motion now.
Yeah,
and let the board
absolutely.
decide.
I just wanted to make sure you all knew that it's up to you all. It's within your discretion whether you give him any waiver or all the waiver he's requesting. And you don't have to do either one of those. You don't have to give him a waiver.
Totally
Or next
understood.
time, or the next person.
I think we all understand, and I think everyone's given a reasonable argument. I think it's time.
All right. So, based on our discussion and a number of reasonable reasons on why, I would like to make a formal motion to waive the rental fees for Old School Square for the 2025 Delray Concourse d'Elegance.
But is there still some cost associated with you guys that he's willing to pay, or
A
no?
second for discussion.
A second for discussion. I don't even think the $250 is covered in your whoever's time it is and so forth today. So, however we're trying to figure that out, if that's you're trying to figure it out, it's not covering it. And I'm not saying it changes my vote one way or the other, but I just don't think $30 an hour, 8 hours, it's $240. If that's how long it truly is, it's probably longer than that. Time you take in salary, benefits, et cetera, you're not covering that anyway, period.
I'd like to see your cost covered on that at least, the very minimum.
The setup fee is $750 a day.
Not
$250.
In scheduling. I mean, just from me being a scheduler from my previous life, if you're going to work a Saturday, you give them a Tuesday off. If you're going to work, so they still are within the 5 days of during the week of working. So there's ways to offset that to make sure that they're not going above and beyond the call of duty for the hours that are within their contract.
This is not an employee that's on a regular.
I got it. I know.
weekly. This is
I did it with Flea Mingle. I know. I've met Victoria. She's wonderful, and she's there when necessary. She's a contracted individual.
she's more than
with us.
$30 an hour.
It's not.
Probably.
It's just for. It's not necessary. It's part of the requirement that we,
Yes,
as far as
that
our
you have someone
service
there.
that we
Yes.
have, where they're generally an hour before or a half hour before the person shows up, to an hour or so after. So that's part of the venue management piece. So it's covered, I think, from part of our operational expenses for running this venue as a venue, right? For the community. It's totally board's discretion. I think, just roughing the numbers as far as hours of setup, it would be close to that 1,500 for those 3 days. Depending, again, on the extent of the operation and support there. But if it's similar to last year, not sure we need double people.
So
but we don't
Max,
know.
how much did you pay out of pocket last year? $1,500? Was that what you paid?
Yes.
And then the reason why I'm asking, because if you budgeted the same way for this year without the penalty, you were already set up to pay $1,500. So my motion would be not to, after we finish this out, my motion would be for him to then pay the $1,500 that he paid last year, because it should have already been budgeted for the same amount as he paid last year, which would cover the cost that is required for Victoria to be present. But I do want to go on record with Max that when Victoria is present, she comes and opens up. Most of the folks do all of the work. Victoria may leave the site, and then she comes back when it's time to close up shop. So that's a whole technical discussion that can be had later, not to sideswipe her, but he said, I set up all the stuff myself. So her oversight is
Your
loose.
event was a lot different than this. I just want to just
No,
clear
he-
it.
I'm mirroring
Right.
what he said.
Sure. Okay.
Yes.
Just for the record, this flea mingle piece is different, and a gym is a different operation, but
it's the same
Sure.
oversight is what I'm saying. I am concurring with you in that I understand what you're saying. So because you were attaching that to a fee. So after this discussion, then my suggestion would be that Max pays the $1,500 that he paid last year.
Yeah, I'd like to move forward with my motion because there's still a motion on the table, I believe.
Motion in a second.
Yeah, in a second. And I'd like to just say one more time. Every dollar that we take for the building that we get city dollars to manage is not going to local non-for-profits. So that's like, and yes, we want to pay for our people's time, but our people's time is paid with city dollars already. And these are basically stopping dollars from going directly into non-for-profits, local ones that we know. And again, I just don't understand, we'll talk about Beatles on the Beach and the time and the cost here because it was 36 grand. And it's seeming like it's a lot more if it's $5,000 just in reduced non-for-profit rental fees. So, but again, just recognize that. But that's my motion. Please take a vote.
So the motion is to waive all 100% of the fees.
That's correct, sir. $2,000 of money that would go to local non-for-profits.
Is there a second?
Yeah, we already had a second. Jim. So now we can take a vote.
Jim Knight,
Yes.
Vera Woodson,
I'm going to say no.
Harold Van Arnhem,
Yes.
Brian Rosen,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
No.
Cole Davids.
No.
Aranelli Burton is not present.
It's
So
a
can we-
split. It's split.
It fails.
Yes.
Is there another motion?
Yes.
Yeah, I think we need another motion.
I would like to motion that Max pay the $1,500 that was allocated last year to keep consistency in what was expected.
So is that a motion?
That's a motion.
To waive the fees?
To waive the fees associated up to $1,500. Or that he would pay $1,500.
I'll second that.
Cole Davids,
Yes.
Alan Costello,
Yes.
Brian Rosen,
I'm going to vote no based on the fact there's also a $10,000 hit he took, which Vera mentioned earlier, but it's not being discussed in the motion.
Harold Van Arnhem,
Yes.
Vera Woodson,
Yes.
Jim Knight.
Yes.
Motion passes and Aranelli Burton is not present.
Okay. Thank you, Max.
Thank you, Max.
Oh, per the email, I presented the bed race recap to the board, and I was supposed to collect that donation today. Is there a process for that? Is it a new
Yes.
process? Is it a picture? What is it? I'm not
The
asking
check
for a picture.
or no? The check? Oh,
Yes.
no, we don't do it. We actually, the checks get signed at the board, after the board meeting, so I do have it at the office for you. So,
Okay.
great.
And then following up on everything else, the city waiver process it's very solid now after a few years. I do provide receipts from the nonprofits. I do a giant check photo. And I do provide actual reporting afterwards. So it's category reporting. It's not the CPA books. This is the advertising. This is the big picture, big cost, revenue, and just for context, last year we spent $81,000 in cash. We took in $126 cash, $126,000. We spent total cost $172,000. That was about $90,000 in-kind sponsorship, just from local Delray businesses. So they obviously see the value in recouping that as well. So in the end, it works out, and it's a big impact for everyone.
It's a great event.
We appreciate
Thanks,
you,
Max.
Max. Thank you.
Thank you, Max. All right.
2C.
We ready for 2C?
Yes. All right, so 2C is for partnership requests, the Beatles on the Beach. You all received the information provided in the backup. This, a little bit of history that I provided you in your memo, which is this event has been going on since 2019. And has had partnership throughout those years in various organizations, including the DDA, and also as part of Old School Square. This year, we are looking at, again, a partnership or a hosting of the space. This is a huge community event, tribute festival, that does bring thousands of people from around the country and internationally to downtown Delray, as many do. But as the Old School Square campus, looking at revitalizing and actually integrating this into as a host, we've outlined on here as the partnership goes, which is similar in fashion that we've done as we started the campus programs of taking more of the hard cost, fencing, production, equipment, if you will, and then also recouping revenues from owning the concession, as well as a portion of the ticket proceeds as well. So, and this outline is different, where we would now also recoup any of the sponsorship that would come forward. So, and then Daniel's here if he wants to give his overview on this event and new things for this year.
Laura?
Yes, sir.
When you say the sponsorship,
Mm-hmm.
how exactly do you mean
So if we would recruit any Old School Square partners or sponsors for the Old School Square. Those sponsors, or for this event, or for the venue itself, because we have sponsorship for annually, that would come and stay within the DDA.
Okay.
So if Daniel gets sponsors for his event, then they would stay with the Beatles on the Beach, United We Rock. So we would, instead of splitting or pooling the sponsorships, it would be whoever brought in the sponsorship would keep the sponsorship revenue.
Did we get sponsorship last year?
We did not. It was different. It was allocated differently.
Okay.
I have a question for Laura as well before we listen to this, because the sponsorship portion, if we receive, let's say we got a $10,000 sponsorship, and then we're waiving all of these fees, basically our $10,000 sponsorship goes towards our fees for what we were waiving. So we're working on both ends of this, just for clarification. Meaning we're bringing money in,
Right.
and then money's going out.
Similar to what we are doing now with
Yes.
what are the events that we have, right?
Yes. Just check.
Go to offset cost.
You know, I like to hear it out loud.
I know.
Okay.
So, question.
Yes, sir.
Old School Squares, we got the branding going. It's becoming more known. Delray Beach is heating up its season. If we're co-producing this event, and I understand the sponsorships are like separate, but at a certain point, say Daniel gets a huge sponsor to cover all the costs of the bands, which is, again, that showed the cost of like $130,000. So if he gets $500,000 of sponsorships and makes $430,000, and we're co-producing it, and we're doing a lot of the stuff on the ground, I'm just saying in general, like, I don't know how that really works, but I would just want to make sure there's some sort of balancing on it of some sort, so that, again, the
what do you
city's
mean
not
by balancing? Just so I'm not
maybe like a break point at a certain point, because I understand that it's a for-profit company.
Are you saying a revenue share balance? So is that what you mean?
Yeah, like if all costs are offset and one partner.
I'm not questioning you, but
Yeah.
I'm not clear on what you're saying. So
yeah, I'm
sure other
basically
people
looking
are.
for something where if we're co-producing a show, that we do benefit once all costs are covered and a certain amount of gross revenues generated, that we see if there's like a break point, like if it goes great, Beatles are internationally known, Old School Square is in a much better place this year than it was last year, the number of people following us, everything that's happening, I'd say it's 3 to 4 times as strong. So we could blow it out of the water, and if we're co-producing an event with a private party, I just want to make sure that we're looking out for ourselves and the city dollars at the end.
I agree
if
with
there's
you.
some kind of
Economic impact isn't as big of a deal when we're co-producing. It's a business decision now.
right, yeah, exactly.
If I can, I think clarify. You said if they brought in $500,000, it costs $170. There'd be $330 in profit, not $430.
Yeah, well,
I think
it was
that's where
$130 and
there's $130 and then $40 below that.
Yeah.
I think
Well,
that's
no, the
where-
40 below that we're paying.
Okay.
That's our cost. That's not even
total
his.
expense,
I'm just
right.
talking about his side and sponsorship and his costs, not our costs and the whole thing.
So if there's a strong sponsorship, you want to share in the revenue.
Yeah, I mean, what I really want, honestly, is a budget, because it's really hard. I mean, I know you're a professional. You do this for a living. We're looking after city dollars. There's $4 a ticket. There's a no breakdown, but it's just like $36,000 in costs. Meanwhile, we're charging the non-for-profits, $5,000, for stuff, and that we're doing very little with. Need to see some of the breakdowns in budget. It's a lot of money. These are big dollar things. I want to see Beatles on the beach. I'm a supporter. I love the Beatles, love Delray Beach. When you get outside your pond and you can hit something like that, that's why I like the sister cities too, because you're hitting an entirely other countries. Like you're really opening up, and I think it's a great venue and a great opportunity. I'm like a budget guy, and I just want to see the numbers. And this was
He's here. Let's ask him.
Can I ask one question, though? Because bullet point in the section that says DDA Delray Beach to provide and pay for, it says required police, fire, and city services for the 2-day event, request to be waived by the city. So that cost is rolled into that $36,000 to $40,000. So
there
if
now. It is there in there now.
it's in there now, but if the city is responsible for this, I would have rather not seen that in there, that he was going to go and ask the city to waive it. Is he asking through us to waive this? And I just want Laura to answer, because otherwise this is not $36,000 anymore, because that's someone else's cost, but it's rolled into this number. So I want to make sure that if we're approving anything,
if it's not waived, that's what the number will be.
if it's not waived though, but at what point? Because here's the thing, we're putting the cart before the horse.
Right.
If we say we're waiving $36,000 and he's including it in here, I want to make sure that we're not then going to be paying the city for that $36,000. That's why I would have preferred it not even be in there,
We're
because
not
that's not our
waiving the
decision.
$36,000.
Okay.
No, we're paying. That would be what our costs
Our costs,
are.
yes.
Correct.
for just
The
police.
police cost is not
Not
on his
36.
side of it.
Yeah.
It's on the DDA side of it.
No, it's not. It would be anywhere from be about 10,000. It's for police, fire. Would be what our
For
costs
3
would be.
days?
That's what I'm
2
saying.
days. It's a 2-day event.
Yeah, it's right here.
yeah.
And I'm like, this is
For a non-profit or us, we are following that, and that's a 50% of the cost is what we have.
Oh, so it's normally 20, but we're getting the
Yes.
non-for-profit cost. And then, but
Unlikely to
doesn't the
waive.
city have a new thing that they only waive 8?
It's not well,
That isn't there like a new
Right.
limit for all special events, which we fall under?
right. So there would be 8 of that 10 that would be waived if that would
Okay.
be the case, because it's police, fire, and cleanup.
Okay.
If that was
Wait,
if that was
can you
waived.
explain that new provision? I guess.
So it's under city sponsorship. So instead of waiving all costs, they capped it at an $8,000 limit.
So the potential that we'd have to pay would be 2,000. Best case scenario
Correct.
would
Yes.
be 2,000.
If right, depending on what the forecast is
Okay.
for the numbers, it could be more, depending on what the projection is from the city and who's on site and what staff is working. It's just based on that number.
When is it going through CTAC? Because that's when we'll know those numbers, right? That's when they provide it all?
Mm-hmm. Well, it's still estimated because it's again back on who is actually operating the event from the city,
Right.
from the police levels.
Okay.
Did we recoup any funds with alcohol sales or any?
In the past, yes.
Yeah.
We do. So
How
we're
much do we
we're
recoup?
last year we received it was close to 12,000.
Okay, so that brings us down to $20,000 to $25,000.
Let's see. Yeah, I guess you can go through your presentation. I'd love to hear you talk too. I don't want to like take up all the time just because you haven't even had the opportunity to kind of tell us more about this new partnership. And again, this is, I understand, like an outline, and I just want to get a little more of the guts of it, you know? So
Great.
let us know. If that's
listen-
okay, Chair.
Hold on, Daniel. Laura,
Yes, sir.
are you coming up with anything different or?
She'll let you know.
I'm looking for it right now.
Okay, that's Bob was trying to
Yeah,
wait
yeah,
for
yeah,
it.
yeah.
You want Daniel to start his presentation?
Okay, Laura, we're going to start.
Go ahead. No, that's fine. I thought you were.
Cool. I'm Daniel Hartwell, and I am the CEO of United We Rock, and I've been doing events for many, many years. Have worked giant.
Better talk into the mic.
Have worked giant festivals for many, many years. This is a smaller festival, if you will, here in Delray Beach. I've had festivals from anywhere to 20 to 30 to 50 to 60,000 people easily, up to 320,000 people at one point. I have experience doing it. I love Delray Beach. I moved here quite a while ago, and I feel it's an honor for me and a blessing for me to actually do these festivals here. I love doing it. It's a passion project for me. That's what it is. And working with Laura is absolutely amazing. I think she's the hardest working person in entertainment right now, especially here in Delray Beach. So things have been working out for Beatles on the Beach since 2019. However, I hit so many snags where it went into a different form, and I've worked with 3 different entities so far. And it's been difficult going through COVID and trying to make it out of it, and having the press happening all around it. Is this going on? Is it not going on? Is it going to be pulled or not pulled? So it's not an easy place to promote a music festival, and I'm really trying to get there with you and with the city. And that's why I think it was mentioned with the city too, because I do talk to them also, and I say, my main thing with the city when I meet with them now is you need to give the DDA more money. That's my biggest gripe to the city right now, because of the cut that they made. And I think Old School Square deserves 24/7, 365 that this place should be programmed. And I'm hopefully working on that. But Beatles on the Beach has a history, and I have Beatle bands, the Brazilian Beatles, the Japanese Beatles, the Swedish Beatles, the Israeli Beatles, and I've had so many different Beatle bands from around the world fly in and do performances, not only on Old School Square stage, but they do them all over on Atlantic Ave and beyond also. And it's not only for just Atlantic Ave and, west of Atlantic Ave with the library. There are other entities that get involved in Delray Beach that benefit from it too. Not only do the hotels downtown fill up and sell out, but there are hotels all around Delray Beach that actually get involved. Why it's not easy to do a festival here, and why I'm asking, and hopefully, you'll be partners of mine, is I think Tom Market really hit the nail on the head. We don't get parking here. When I was doing festivals in the past at other municipalities, I was shutting down airports, other parks, and other spaces where it was massive, and you can get 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 10 acres of parking, and that's your money to make. I don't get the bar here. The DDA gets the bar along with your merchants. People come to Delray Beach from all over the world to this event, and a ton of locals who I'm in touch with all the time, as some of the people told you. They go out and they make restaurant reservations galore. And these restaurants put together a Magical Mystery Margarita, Strawberry Fields Forever Daiquiri, on and on. They do Beatles-centric menus, and everybody gets involved up and down the Ave and beyond. But there is no parking. There is no food for me. There is no alcohol. I only make it on the tickets, and I barely squeak by. I know you're going to ask about money. I mean, this is the fourth year that I'm actually putting it on, because we got stopped during COVID, and it's not a moneymaker. This is not a moneymaker for me. It's definitely a moneymaker for downtown Delray. I don't. That's
right there. That was pretty good.
Yeah, that's really it. That's really it.
So, as our partner, how much money does it make?
How much will I make?
No, not you. I mean, the thing. Like, say we're just broad stroke. We're selling the tickets for X. I mean, I guess we need to see some sort of budget. It just is so clear when you can see a budget and you say, hey, we're selling this many VIP tickets. We're selling this much here. The DDA expects to sell this much in concessions. It's like, if I could see a budget for the event, I could very easily make decisions, but it's hard. And I do believe it does a lot for the city, and it does a lot for the DDA, and I want to do it. It's just a matter of I want to really understand what we're agreeing to on the expense side.
And it's a matter of timing, because it's so hard to book these bands. Never mind, this is coming up rather quickly. I'm finally in front of the DDA to talk about it. In the past, it's been easier to put it together.
I didn't get the information until Friday.
I understand.
I got it Friday afternoon. And it's like, hey, this is like this is almost like 10% of our budget, close to, So
and Daniel, if you have a budget, I mean, he's right about the budget. It's hard to plan anything without a budget. And certainly if you have a budget,
that's going to tell you how much you're going to pay.
Right. Certainly sitting down.
I mean, you
with
can't pay
Laurel-
$200,000 if you don't have 200,000, right?
Correct. But I don't have a budget until I actually can find out if I have an okay to do this. Then I can actually put in offers to the national and international acts. Because
I don't think it has to be an audited budget. I think you could
you
come
have
up with
rough
an
numbers.
estimate based on your last 4 years of experience. It's simple enough.
So if there's an act that accepts my offer, okay, it's actually a legal document. Okay, when you put in an offer and they accept it, that's a legal contract the minute they accept it.
Brian.
Okay?
Brian.
Daniel.
Daniel, I'm sorry.
I'm like looking around.
Daniel, I'm sorry. How did you come up with the $130,000? That's kind of what they're asking.
Okay. So I put in at least amount that I know that I'm going to spend. Put it that way. That I know I'm going to put in $130,000. That the bands that are out there, they're going to be at least that. When I talk to these bands, and I'm asked by everybody, all the commissioners, can you get Earth, Wind, and Fire? Sure, I can get Earth, Wind, and Fire, but they're $150,000 to $250,000. And so on and so on. No matter what band it is, it costs a lot of money. And, if
Daniel, I don't think we want to give you a hard time because you're doing an amazing job. I think we'd be at a big loss if you weren't here. I mean, and the whole town. And so I'm a big supporter of yours. I think what you're doing is amazing. But we got to have a budget. I mean, look, when you get money from
taxpayer
people,
dollars.
when you get, if I'm going to give you money, personally, business-wise, I don't mind giving you the money, but I assume you're going to pay me back, if I give you the money. Okay, so I'm giving you this money. Now, we aren't asking for it back, but if you're making a big profit or a surplus, maybe there should be some consideration to return some of that. And the only way we can do that is have a budget, and then we can have the actual. We don't need a certified audit. We can just have an uncertified audit at the end of the day. Isn't that normal, the way everything should go in business?
I don't know how you can plan an event without a budget, even a rough one.
Can I say something? I'm looking at this, and I'm looking at all of the things that you're paying for. You said you haven't booked the band yet, but here is a cost for an international music artist. We don't know if they're coming internationally, so that part of your budget at 130 doesn't necessarily have them in there or potentially in there. I don't know, because again, like they said, we need a line item budget. But I go back to the fire. And it's the fire and the police. It's included in there, but as our costs. But the city then would have to be involved in us going to them and saying, "Oh, this is what we're incurring, and we have to work with them on that." I just feel like there's a lot of questionable lines in here, and again, we all support bringing economic development to the city. I think we all agree, because that's our mission. That's why we're here. But when we're dealing with this co-producing an event, and we can't see the numbers of profitability to see if we are actually getting what we are giving, our return on investment, it needs to be transparent, not for me, but for the people who are out there who are saying, what are you doing with our money? That's why.
If I can help you out, that's like asking me how many tickets will be sold.
Right.
We don't know how many
like
tickets.
you said, there's been history. You got four years of history at least. There's an average.
So I can kind of jump in. So just so last year the DDA was responsible for concessions. $13,000 was what the percentage that we received of the total amount, which is what our contract is with professional concessionaires.
Just curious, what percentage of the sales was that?
It's 40%. So of 2 days. So the Saturday or the Cheap Trick night was more revenue, and it's actually 40 if we hit a certain threshold, which we did. So 30 if we're under a certain amount as well. The other where we only had $2 for the tickets last year. This year it's $4. And with the bigger footprint, there's a projection that we would sell. Last year, number of tickets that were sold was close to almost 5,000 in total. This This time, we have a potential of maybe potentially doing 6,000 based on capacity.
Easily.
Well, based on capacity of the venue. So that would,
Laura, I don't think we are, I mean, I'm not.
And how many tickets are VIP tickets?
you can't hear me?
Well,
Oh.
but don't you think if we had a budget, we wouldn't have to go through this conversation?
Could we let Laura finish? Go ahead, Laura.
No, I agree.
Don't you think he should have a budget?
Can
I
we?
mean, a budget both expenses.
Yeah.
I thought we worked on a budget, and this was pretty much.
Daniel.
This is not, they want more detail.
Daniel, Daniel, do you have numbers from last year?
I can bring in
Can
something
you
for
please
you.
present
I
numbers?
just can't wait another month to do it.
I understand. Well,
Yeah.
we need, if we have the numbers from last year, we'll have an idea of how to project for this year. The same thing goes with their numbers from last year.
Sure.
We know what the only thing I'm concerned about is like any other promotion. How much of our actual cost here, what do we have to put up way ahead of the actual event? In other words, do we have to book anything here where it comes out of our pocket in advance? So
No.
if by
Deposits,
chance,
but they're-
if by chance Daniel was unable to continue and somehow succeed, and say he was forced to cancel, we wouldn't want to be out money.
Correct.
But if we're not out money, then going by last year's numbers, we can get an idea of what we spent last year and what this year, what will be different. Same with you. And then maybe we can all make better sense out of this, and we can do this. As far as I'm concerned, we can do this right away. You can get the numbers, send them to Laura, and we can do this in the email back and forth.
No,
And if
you
we
cannot
need,
do that.
We need a meeting?
Yes.
Yeah,
Then-
a couple
Well,
quick
let's-
questions.
But not wait
Can
4
I-
weeks.
Can I
Not wait
speak,
4 weeks
Big
for a
Al?
meeting. Go
I just
ahead.
have specific-
Mr. Chair? So, and Laura, please correct me if I misstate anything. What you're really being asked right now is to approve the partnership and then approve the DDA budget item of up to $40,000. Is that correct?
But there's the sponsorship issue.
No, that's not coming out of the DDA's budget. Is what my point is. The partnership with this group is what you're being asked to do, is to partner with them, and as part of that partnership, you're going to be requested to spend up to $40,000.
But that's really not the question that we have in front of us.
It is the question that you have before
Actually,
you.
it's the sponsorship question.
It's not the sponsorship question.
Yes, all right. Just a couple questions that are
It's not.
specifically regarding this. Just
Can
'cause
I
I'm-
make a comment on the sponsorship thing? If
Yep.
I was to ever get $500,000 for sponsorship for an event here in Delray Beach, I would look at you and go, "Here you go."
you book Earth, Wind, and Fire, and you find that guy who wants to pay for him to pay in their backyard, and then you get him to pay for it, and then call it a sponsorship. And you do that 3 times, and all of a sudden you've got an all-star thing with
As
the
Laura
money. It
and the
happens.
DDA, no, sponsorship is not an easy thing in this town, especially around here where they go, "Hey, we're really happy that you bring in all these people and they're eating and drinking and paying for parking, but they're going to come in, you're bringing them in anyway." They don't give up a lot of money here. They just don't.
So,
Um,
but
so-
I just got a couple specific questions again. To lease the amphitheater and park location, what is that per day?
For the whole park, it's 6,000.
All right.
For
so
not, that's for profit.
right.
not
Is
for
United
nonprofit.
We Rock for profit or non-profit?
Non-profit.
And do you keep any money from the stuff you do with your non-for-profit?
Do I give away stuff?
Like,
that-
do you take a salary or take funds from the non-for-profit for yourself for management of it?
What non-for-profit?
Is United We Rock a non-for-profit?
No, it's a for-profit company.
Oh, okay. Well, someone said no.
Yes.
All right, that's fine. Not a problem. Totally
Right.
great. So,
But I
there-
certainly donate to all kinds of Delray
I understand.
Beach
Look, I'm just trying to follow the
non-for-profits.
policies and
If
procedures.
you follow me, I'm involved.
I
Right.
don't doubt. I know you are,
Right.
but I'm just trying to do the policies and procedures here. So it's a for-profit company. So what do we charge a for-profit company for a lease of the amphitheater and park?
6,000.
All right, and that's for how many days is it?
It's a daily rate.
Right, and how many days is this
Based on
thing?
the-
She said 12,000.
It's 2 days. The Beatles.
Yes.
All right, so that's 12. Event labor team. We just went over that. That was like 1,500 a day for
No,
non-for-profit.
no, total. No.
Include the use of the gym. Is that a separate fee or is that included in your 6,000 number? Because that's also another
The
number.
whole campus, I believe.
Is it the whole
No,
campus?
that shows later. No, I'm just going to go on because the $36,000 number is what I'm going to say is not an accurate number. You know,
I told you that up front.
I know, but
Yes.
I'm just trying to go line by line by what we're
What
voting
part
on.
don't you think is accurate? Just so we can cut through some of this.
Yeah, because the cost estimate shows 36 to 40,000.
Yeah, what part of that don't you think
Well,
is
that's
accurate?
what I'm going to go through. So the lease for the amphitheater and the park itself for a
So
for-profit
you're not
company-
sure which part. You just don't
No,
think
it's
it's
not
accurate.
broken out. I'm trying to break it out together. So we just said it was 6,000
Okay.
for 2 days. I'm just going clean,
12,000
and then
for 2
12,000 for 2 days,
Plus the cost of
and then the event team labor and cleaning. I'm going by what we're voting on. So if we're just going to
These
say
are
that
these are estimates.
but this is what it shows. I'm just saying I can't.
So I put that budget based on
I'm
the
just trying to
cost.
keep this as formal as possible here.
Can we make a motion?
We're going to, but I just want to make it. We are voting on what's in front of us here, and I'm literally just was going to go line by line. But if the numbers are not accurate, then I'm going to table it until we get the accurate numbers. Like, all right.
Can't vote on it
All
until we
right.
get a budget.
Then make a motion somewhere.
But I can't put in offers and
You-
find out what the airline tickets.
Accept it.
But
You can make an offer to them. I'm going to pay you $15,000. Blah blah blah. You know, and then I've got all these offers. That you can come and call.
What we could maybe do right now is we can go through, get the correct expenses.
it doesn't work that way with agents. I'm telling you right now.
Yeah.
And also, I mean, I
If we want to
bring-
take the time to do it today, what I would
You
recommend is
you won't have a hard number
I
because
don't need a
it's
hard number.
it's
I
an
need
estimate.
I need a more accurate than the 36. I can
She
go
gave
through
you
it.
an estimate.
This isn't an estimate.
Are these your numbers, Laura, or this is Daniel's
Those are
numbers?
my num- the-
These are your numbers.
The four, under ours, yes, it is. based on-
Okay. All right. Well, that's
I don't
Laura's
think that's-
estimate.
my numbers could balloon a lot more beyond that. But I'm still not going to be taking more money from
I'm not.
the DDA.
Yeah, I'm not even looking at your dollars at this point. I'm just trying to
Want
see.
you to make a profit. I think it's important that you make a profit, or you wouldn't do it. You know, so please. I don't know why you can't just give us the actual from last year.
It
Yeah,
would-
or at least a breakdown of these. If we
It
can get a
would've been-
breakdown of these. If we can't do it here, that's okay. We have to do another time, but we do need a breakdown. I'm trying to do it right now.
Well, we can.
It would have been nice last year if I knew I had the whole park, and then the city came in and said, "Hey, we're going to shut down half the park." Do you remember that, right? And basically, we turned away another 600 to 700 people that wanted to buy tickets because they said we're going to solve this area. So there's so many
That's
different.
That's beyond us right now. Again, I'm just trying
How-
to. Get this
how
So
much-
here, so
It's
How-
variables and estimates. That's all that
How-
I run into.
The real question is what I said earlier. Do you want to enter into this partnership? And if so, how much do you want the DDA to spend on that? Whether I don't think she's going to be able to give you an accurate estimate at this point that you can 100% rely on. She's giving you based on her costs that she knows were from last year and what she believes is going to be at the time she actually books these different things like the fence and tent rentals and labor that's included with that. So she's done the due diligence to see whether or not those costs are going to be accurate for that, and she came up with 36 to 40,000, and some of that may be waived by the cities, but she didn't include the waived cost. She included the full cost of what the city would charge, assuming they don't waive any costs. So this is what the DDA's cost is based on the staff's review of what it will be needed and the cost of those items based on projecting. She projected these as the cost.
So,
we see that?
so here's the problem that I think is the issue,
see
Quentin.
that? Can we see what-
Because
Can we see what you just talked about?
as a
It's
business,
right here.
Right,
Please
as a-
don't talk
as a-
over anybody.
What?
Please.
Yeah.
One person's got the floor.
As a business
Chair.
person and just as a personal person, I have a policy for myself and for my husband. We don't go into business with anybody we don't see their books. So when we're doing this, we haven't seen those books. And you want us to sign a contract to, and I'm using the words from here, co-produce an event. So if I'm going to be held liable for any portion of the event, I want to know who I'm getting into bed with. So is that beyond the scope of us asking to review information that would have us make a better decision for who we are entering into a business contract with?
That's not what I'm saying. What I'm telling you is the staff has requested you approve an up to $40,000 expense from
That's not
DDA.
what all this is, Quentin. It's more than that.
Not from the DDA.
Yeah, from us. It
What
is.
what else?
Whether it's going to go off, there's a sponsorship involved now. If there is,
There, what sponsorship are you talking
one
about?
thing- listen, there's two pieces to this.
Right.
One is this actual cost, and one is the word partnership and co-produce. Those are different things than just approving this 40,000. I'm fine with all three pieces. However, we're getting asked a reasonable question, which is, how do we know, because we're co-producing with you, what it all entails other than this? Either in a profit, if there should be some enormous $500,000 sponsorship, which I wish on you, but I don't expect either. And the other side, which is what catastrophe could occur where you're unable to perform and we're still responsible for what we've voted for. So it's, will there be profit?
I can
will
answer
there
that.
not be? Well, that's what we're trying to get at.
Yeah.
If you can give us that clearly, that might help us.
Right. Well, it doesn't affect your bottom line at all. There's a limit to what you're going to put in.
That's the $40,000.
I get that.
That's it. There is more than anything a ballooned amount that happens every time you put on a festival. And Brian, you would know because you've dealt with festivals on your property before. That even though if it balloons up on my side, it doesn't balloon up on your side. So you're protected on that point.
Well, I'm just worried about performance.
Okay.
As long as you can perform and you deliver a concert from your side, whether it costs you $130 or $230, shouldn't affect us in theory.
Absolutely.
Right.
And as far as sponsorship, if you want to put something down there now and say, hey, if you make a sponsorship for all of this money for, someone comes in with a $50,000, $100,000 sponsorship and we want some of it, I'll tell you, yeah, go right ahead.
I want to try to make this move forward. I really do. And I do think that this is an important event for the city. And I'm not going to look at any of the income side at this point. I'm just going to put that aside, right? I just want to focus on the DDA costs because that's what we really have, and we can work the rest out. Because if this is just about an estimated cost and like a not to exceed, then I'm okay with that. But I really just want to look at the bullet pointed items and discuss it together to make sure this is the right number, because I have a feeling it actually should be more. And I think we could do it really simply.
Go ahead.
And if it is more, then we can agree to it. If it's less, it's fine. But let's just at least get that off the way. And then when it comes to his responsibilities, and we can look at income stuff in the
Brian,
future. Yeah.
You just said you think it's going to be more.
Right. Let's go
Hold,
through.
hold on.
Quentin, why do you stop him every?
That's the point.
So
All right.
he's saying is, why are we opening up the can of worms? Because if it's going to be more than 40, which you just said, we're locked into 40. Why do we care if the balloon happens on his side, not ours?
No, it
Once
says-
we lock into 40,
Because it says to provide and pay for. Those are our responsibilities. It could go up. There's a cost
That's just
estimate.
an estimate.
It doesn't say a max
right?
not to exceed.
But if we only say not to exceed 40,000 in our vote right
Then that
here,
can work.
then that locks him in,
But we have
and
no
what he does over that,
But then
that's
I want
on
to be
him.
transparent.
Yeah, but what
with
he does
everyone.
over there could be he can't do the show.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
Well, then who suffers less?
Hold on. Yeah. Again. I just want to. Can we just go through these real quick? There's like 8 things on here. Really, it'll go quick. So the amphitheater was $12,000 for the 2 days. The event cleaning and labor. What are those costs about for the 2 days?
I'd say 1,200.
$1,200.
Or would there be
The
an
stage
extra
LED
cost
lights
for
for
gymnasium?
Old School Square,
Go with the gymnasium.
including the lawn. I'm just
That-
looking for the cost breakdown of the stuff, because if it's more, then I want to agree to more, because I want it to be successful and I don't want to jam them. I just want to know what our exposure is and not have it as an estimate, at least on this side of it.
Gymnasium.
It's always going to be an estimate until it's
Yeah.
paid.
Well, we have
12.
certain things that we charge for
I
for-profit
estimated
companies.
12 plus, yeah.
All
We
right.
charge separately
Every
for the
corporation
gymnasium, Laura.
runs on an estimate.
Laura.
Yeah, and the chairs and rentals and tables, please.
That we estimated at 3,000,
And the
You
additional
think it's
security for ambassadors.
500.
That's it for 2 days.
Mm-hmm.
$500. That's great. Special events permitting For the site plan development collaboration, I guess that's all your time going into CTAC. How much time are you spending of yourselves in that process?
That's really the fee in that is $150.
No, but I mean your time. I'm just talking about if we're co-producing. I want to do this for
it's really
everyone that we
easy.
work with, because I don't want to just co-produce with one person. I want to have the opportunity to team with a lot of different people. So I want to just understand what it is.
It's a partnership, not a co-production. Just you keep saying.
Well, because
that.
it says co-produce on.
I understand that, but we're not producing the event.
I'm just
no.
All right, and then let me just finish. The special event permitting 150, and the police and fire is normally 10 grand, but we are going to get it down to about 2.
Maybe.
In an ideal world, maybe.
The 10 grand is included in the estimate, so I would keep it at 10
So
grand.
10 and 12, 24.
And there's no cost on the concession staffing and management.
All right, that's all. Thank you. That's all I needed to do. I appreciate it. I'm sorry it was so
No,
brutal.
How much?
It
Yeah, you
depends
didn't-
if
you
it's
didn't put
for-profit or
fencing.
non-profit. That's the whole thing.
It's for profit.
Well, but we're going as a non-for-profit into the city.
For the fees, you mean?
Right.
Okay.
But we're not producing it.
No.
Well, it's a joint.
I know, that's what I'm just
produced
saying.
event.
It's like
I mean,
I'm
it's
just like it's
we're-
like I get
we
confused
are,
on our
'cause we
role
are-
and what our responsibilities are.
So
sometimes.
this is similar to like if we're partnering. I mean, any private producer that wanted to come in here and do something, we would want to find a way to work with them to produce bigger events, right? This
Yeah, of
is
course,
something. This is something that falls into that. It's what we did last year or years before. Is it's bringing in a reach that helps activate the space, brings more festivals to our community. We go in as a host venue, if you will. And Old School Square Center for the Arts did that initially, looked at this event as we are the host venue. We want to bring that attention and recognition to this location. That's how we look at this. Yes, there's expenses that will incur, fencing. Again, those are all estimates based on what we have. And time, it's very little of our time on a staffing because of the event. And then the other areas of really the hard costs that are backline, labor, all of those are really heavy expenses that come into, and those will fall into the United We Rock. Ours are very minimal.
So this
when it looks at it.
$40,000 is what we will invest.
Correct.
And you will invest 130 or more, and you will put on a show. You're a for-profit corporation that you stand to make a profit. We stand to not make a profit. We made back $12,000 last year.
We have stand to break even. If all tickets are sold, and if we wanted to increase anything, I would recommend that we increase somewhere on the ticket. If we're getting $4 a ticket,
You get $5.
$5 a ticket.
How much are tickets?
$4 right now.
No, that's what we're-
Last year they were at 30
What are they this year?
and 125 or something.
What are you
So
looking
we
for
only are-
tickets this year?
So last year they were $39, and if you with the Delray Beach deal that you got, you could buy 3 and get 1 free for a family pack. So it really brought it down to about $22, $23, and that's a real lot that we sold. So we try to keep it affordable.
Could you track how many people are buying 3 get 1 free?
How many?
Yeah, was there a lot?
Yeah, there was a real lot of people. We try to take care of our Delray Beach residents that way. And we really, I mean, it's a Delray Beach event, and, we're here to make that happen.
I'm sure he does. Go ahead, Glenn.
Thank you, Mr. Chair. I just want to say that if the board wishes to add in the issue that Brian raised and Harold and everybody about the profit over a certain percentage, you can make a motion to that effect, and if he doesn't agree to it, he does it for discussion. But I think that's a very good point that if he's making money, or if he gets this sponsorship or what have you, and there's a certain amount raised, you can obviously request that a certain percentage of that comes back to the DDA and to offset the DDA's budgets.
Right. I don't want to make it too complicated at this point, honestly, and I do want to try to move this forward some way. I do think you have to provide us some numbers, but honestly, that can be for next year, and we have a little more time. I would like to try to make a motion and have it include something about a not to exceed $40,000, and if our side goes over 40, that you're going to cover it. And I also want to have something for the extra $5, and I want to have something in for the Beatles name liability. I just get nervous. It doesn't say Beatles tribute or whatever, and
It actually does. It says it on.
I know I saw some other stuff, and I know you're very good with paperwork. I just want to make sure that we have no exposure on
Or
it.
just like we have all the other tributes coming up, and Beatles tributes are all over the world. It's a known tribute.
I just want to make sure we have
Elvis
an
tributes.
understood. I just want to have an
Yeah.
indemnity from us in there,
Yeah.
something a little extra, just because I get sensitive on that. So,
And I'm okay
is there
with
any more
that.
discussion?
I think you've got.
All right.
I think you've.
All
got
right.
it.
In order again, this is a big festival for us. You do a lot of work. You're very involved in the community. I think we're really working to be as transparent as possible. And I think looking at next year, we're going to need a lot more information and have more time to plan.
I think you can ask him to provide that following the meeting. He just needs this approval, whether you approve it or not. I know I've been talking a lot, Big Al, but I'm not really advocating one way or the other. I'm just trying to crystallize the point that your points are very valid as far as, you know, how do you come up with $130,000? Because I'm not sure the answer to that either. But that to what I said earlier, that's not necessarily going to affect the DDA's budget and public dollars from that standpoint. So it's a big issue, and you should get that information, but it's not going to affect the DDA's budget. But he can provide it before
look,
next
if
year.
the city says they're not waiving costs and our 40 goes up, then he's got the balloon
Well, the 40 it's included with the full city cost is included.
I know, but if the city costs and this and that, and we end up having a higher number, then that's exposure.
I agree to your point to the motion you're going to make about him covering the overage of the 40,000. I think he said he'd agree to that.
I'll give it a shot.
Might I add, if mine side goes up, I don't come to you asking for more money either.
Yeah, we understand. And again, I'm trying to make this as easy as possible. And again, in the future, we can get a little more detailed because, again, I do think this is an important event for the city. And I do want to find other ways where it's not this difficult to partner with folks that want to spend $130,000 to bring events to the city. I want to find ways to make that happen. I just want to make sure that all the things we make the not-for-profit do, the for-profit.
This hasn't been difficult, by the way.
Oh, it hasn't? All right.
No,
well,
it hasn't actually.
Awesome. Well, then let's go for it.
It's a healthy debate.
I would like to make a motion to move forward with the partnership with Beatles on the Beach, United We Rock, with a few caveats being that we'd like to see the tickets be $5 a ticket, go to the DDA. We'd like the not to exceed DDAs to provide for be $40,000 under the listed things here on the page. I can read them if you want.
Brian, I'm sorry to interrupt. Can we make separate motions just so it's clear for our minute taker?
All right, I'd like to make a motion for the cost of the DDA based on a for-profit company not to exceed $40,000.
It should, but that's okay.
You want to make that one? All right, I'll make the motion to enter into the partnership. Well, but the related, because how can I make a motion for something if the other things?
Because if you don't want to enter into this partnership, it ends.
But it's based on a certain amount of things beyond that.
No,
right, I'm not making a motion then.
If I say Brian, let's buy this house since that's your business, and you say no, then we don't negotiate on price and estimates.
That's what I'm saying let's buy this house, but based on these terms.
I know, but you have to first agree to buy the house before we get to the terms.
No way! I gotta know price and terms before I enter into a contract.
But can't you just change that on the partnership right now and saying $5 instead of $4?
But that's what I was trying to do in the amendment.
Right.
But he said no. We got to say we're going to partner.
No. I'm just saying it'll be easier to go back when we look at it next year to look at how we've done
back
it.
for a moment. I've been talking a lot.
So the motion would be to agree to the partnership with Beatles on the Beach for 2025.
That's not a motion.
That's not a motion I'm willing to do either. No.
So no.
What's the motion then?
The motion is the original one he was doing. That's what we're supposed to do.
That is not what you're
write
supposed to
one
do.
Partnership agreement. We're going to have one. I really hate the word partnership, and I think that's the real problem here. It's not that we're entering into a partnership. We're basically giving a waiver of $40,000, which we're going to put up.
The partnership comes on the ticket sales, though.
Yeah. Well, then that's a
Concession
separate
and
thing,
ticket sales.
and that's a concession. And then there's the fact that if there were sponsorships, do we share in profits or not?
It says any sponsorship we raise directly, we get.
No, I understand that, but that's one of the questions. The idea is if we enter into a partnership, do we share equally in profits or 60-40, however this 40 and 130 goes? There's lots of issues that come out of the word partnership that
What
have scared everyone.
What word would you like to use, Big Al?
I don't know. I think we're looking at something that's not exactly a partnership, but there is an agreement that we need to make so that we're going to come up with these costs to allow him to come up with his costs and his expenses to produce this event. We don't have to come up with our costs until he's gotten over the hump and attained his talent and knows that he can proceed. And at that point, we're required to get these 8 or 10 items and move forward. If we can't get these items if there's no event, correct?
Well, I know I can proceed. People
You're comfortable that you can get the
Yeah,
groups?
absolutely. I've been promoting for a long time, and I talk to agents every day.
But you've had partnerships with other people before. This is not exactly a partnership. This is us agreeing to cover these expenses so that you can do the rest.
Let me just state that I've had partnerships with Live Nation where they've actually said, we'll cover these expenses.
Right.
You cover these expenses. Exactly the same way that
And
we're
how did
doing
the
here.
profit share work?
Pretty much the same way. They got a couple dollars a ticket, and they got the alcohol, and that's where the money is. And that was in the Tweeter Center in Boston that I did that for many
Is that
many
how
years.
is that how you're going to build this one? How does that sound to you guys? Because I understand that.
That's what's in here.
You've seen the back page of this, right?
Actually, I saw it and didn't really go over it in detail.
Because that's the revenue portion of it.
Okay, but the actual structure of the partnership agreement, we almost did the same thing with the previous arrangement with the concourse. There are certain costs that we're waiving and we're allowing him to proceed. There's certain costs here that we're not exactly waiving. We're agreeing to produce them. So, are you all happy with the way that works? Yes. Are you satisfied so that we can put together? I can't do it. I can't put together the motion.
You could always pass the gavel if you really wanted to.
But pass the gavel so that I can do the motion? Yeah. No, I'll tell you what. I've already heard the motion. If you'll go and give it, you don't want to do it. All right. So
He
we
doesn't want to do it unless we reverse it so that all of the caveats.
I would just like to see another board member make a motion. And
No,
we'll
I
all
want
vote
the
on it.
I want the partnership to include the agreement to be one motion that includes $5 ticket sales, that includes these 40,000 in costs, that includes the actual agreement that we'll share in whatever other or not share.
That's fine.
Well, we're entering into a very strange.
We can
part.
just do one motion, is fine.
Yeah, it has to be the one motion that you start.
I'd like someone else to make the motion.
Okay, Jim, do you
I'm
think you can do it?
All I know is the $5 part.
Cole's ready.
Me? No, I think Jim's got a better comprehension of it.
Okay.
Oh my God.
Then let's try it. You're going to help me? I think we should have a motion. I'll make a motion.
So you
have to
pass
pass
the
the
gavel
gavel. Pass the
over
gavel.
to Brian.
Brian, it's in front of you.
His
Do I have
back.
to do anything?
Just
Is
please
there a
don't,
motion?
Don't hit him.
don't hit me until afterwards.
Is there a motion?
Okay, so a motion.
Can I have a motion?
That we enter into this agreement with Daniel, who we trust and who we like and who we work with in a lot of different ways, and we're very satisfied with him and we're very excited about the event. And that we ask that the ticket revenue be raised to $5, that the costs of $40,000 for the DDA be fixed, and that any additional cost you'll cover. And have I missed anything?
The name, Beatles' name.
He's concerned about that then all trademarks be protected and that we be indemnified.
Okay.
We got it?
Did you get that, Liliana?
She can watch it again. All over. So now we need a second for the motion.
Second.
You're happy? Good. Okay. Then could we have a roll call?
gym nights.
I knew you had to start right here, Liliana. I mean, come on. I called second. Can't you start on the other end? Yes.
Vito Woodson.
I have a problem. I think we all know I have this problem. Because things are just not clear. And so it pains me that we're doing this. And I know
we have the attorney who's going to write the agreement. It's not just going to be something that Liliana scribbles together.
Quentin, I'm going to put it in your hands then.
Yep.
All the way, okay? Listen, because we need this event.
Yeah.
That's what it is. And I feel like we have kind of pushed ourselves in a corner that we need this. Don't do that, okay? Don't. Because sausage, again, it ain't pretty, but it'll taste good to those that eat
Quentin.
it.
And I
All
trust
right. You
Daniel.
trust Quentin.
And I trust Daniel.
Then we need to revisit this as well. I'm just joking. Okay, so if Quentin is going to do this, I will say yes.
And just you are going to get a chance to look at this before it gets finally.
Understand. Harold.
Harold Van Arnhem.
Yes.
Brian Rosen.
I'm going to vote, but I have a quick question for Quentin. If he starts booking bands and we're agreeing to move forward now, and then there's an issue later, where do we end up?
What type of issue are you foreseeing?
A monetary issue.
With him or with us?
With anything.
Well, most of the things are waived.
Yeah. So,
Well,
I
cost
just didn't know.
is
I don't
capped.
know how committed you are, because you said it's coming back to us. But I think once
No,
we
the actual. This is just a highlight.
Okay.
This is high. This is your
altitude?
term sheet.
Okay.
This
We're
is not
gonna
the agreement.
Okay. Then yes. Thank you for the clarification.
No, I can't take it yet, can I?
Alan Costello.
Yes.
Cole Davids.
Yes.
And for the record, Harley Barton is not present.
You're a strong man, Daniel. Thank you.
Guys, I just want to say, we need to get this stuff. This is a really big event. You guys have been working on this for a long time. When I get a Friday afternoon email with a broad outline like this, and these are really big things that everyone's been spending so much time on, and we're not seeing the detailed information that we should have. I mean, it's really not a good position to put us in. And I think it would be a lot easier for everyone if we just got this stuff a little earlier.
Okay.
Good advice. And working with Laura more and more, we'll be able to get you that more and more.
I appreciate it. It's
So
it's just hard up here,
Sure, and I see that, Brian. And when we met on Friday, probably going through it, it seemed you were okay with that. So I think getting more understanding of what clarity and more detail, this is all very good feedback. So thank you.
The stuff's been in the Dropbox for a week.
No, it got in there Friday afternoon. Some of it was
Thursday.
in there.
It was Thursday night,
Really?
but
Wow.
yes, Thursday afternoon.
We have a meeting on Tuesday, and it's the weekend, and then I'm looking at the tens of thousands of dollars that we're going to be doing with
I
that.
give up-
But
I
there
give
wasn't
up
a
my-
holiday or anything in the middle.
I give up my weekends for the DDA. Whenever you post something, I make sure that I read it right away.
Thank you.
Thank
good.
you for your help. No pun intended. We can only imagine how great it's going to be this year.
Thanks,
And many
Daniel.
more, hopefully.
Thank you.
Great. Thank you.
Thank you all for
right.
that. That was not easy, but I think it came together really well.
Good job, Big Al.
All right.
I didn't do that.
2D.
That was the team.
All right, for the record, Jim has to leave. And also, it was his birthday, so wish
Happy
him a
birthday,
happy birthday
Jim.
to Jim.
60.
Oh, that's a big one. All right, I'll have to send you something.
All right.
It's under.
So
Yeah.
for the
A
next,
card.
so this next item is 2D, and we just prepared. I met when we met with everyone. We went through. We've had lots of recommendations come from this board and from staff as it relates to downtown. Downtown itself, its vision, its health, its vitality, and really how we move forward with that and providing, because a lot of the recommendations, then things that items that are coming from the board are not necessarily items that our organization implements. So they're actually guiding and recommendations to whether it's policy or ordinances or changes within the city or the downtown itself.
I don't mean to interrupt, but
Yeah.
does it make sense to move
With that,
this to
to-
next month?
We could.
Is this a kind of a
Just
big ticket
effort.
item? We're missing two other
guys.
board members.
Yes.
I don't. What do you
no,
think?
that's a very good point.
Okay.
So I'm happy to do that. And if that's we do have
I have
more
no
to go
objection.
through.
I have no objection, and if
Beautiful.
we want, maybe we can have another meeting in
Maybe in
between.
a workshop?
Yes. A workshop on this is a really good idea.
Okay.
These items are, especially since this was Brian's big issue, and it's not gotten smaller. I understand that you
Okay.
met with the city on Friday, and that's
Great.
just one piece of this.
So we'll
I
put
would
this
really
out
love to
towards
hear
a
what
workshop
Brian-
item.
What,
Okay.
what would you guys prefer, a workshop or push it to another meeting?
Probably,
Well,
a
not
workshop would give us a little more depth and just time to focus only on this versus trying to fit it in with other items that we have
Can I
that
ask,
need our
can I ask
action.
a simpler question? Could we have just a survey that has the numbers listed and we all go in and click, 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 and then it tells us what ones we all have in common? So we can kind of cut through the chase. Because I can go down my list right now and go 1, 4, 10 or whatever. And if this person is 1, 4, 6 and 2, 9, 1,
there's a
at
lot
least
of-
we'd
As long
have
as you
those.
understand the background on some of
Yeah,
these
thank
things.
you.
So I think that would
There's
be good.
background on each one of these that don't have to do with you
I-
or me that we all still need to address.
I got it.
So
But
we'll-
Al loves a meeting. That's all I have to say. Al
We'll
loves
look
a
for
meeting.
a date.
I say,
in
yeah, we'll make
the
a
future.
workshop.
Okay.
I think it's a great idea.
Thank you.
And it deserves it. Thank you, Laura.
Liliana, book the hot cookies,
Actually,
please.
thank you,
Thanks.
Workshop alternate location. All right, very good. All right, so moving on. Suze, you want to go ahead and bring up yours just because we'll move into that fast. So we're on to old business. We have the workshop minutes.
Yeah, I'd like to say something on that. I maybe should have spoken before the meeting and moving the agenda around, but I know that I got the recording from the workshop like Friday. I've been trying to listen to it. I just want to make sure some of my comments were clear in the minutes. If we could postpone that, just so I can put some of my own comments in there. I'm not looking to change anyone else's, but I just want to do a couple things, make sure it's in the minutes. If we could move it to next month, I'd appreciate it. And I'd like
Is
to
that a
make a
motion?
motion for that formally.
I don't mind at all. I'd love to know. We'll get a chance to see what you put in, right?
Yeah, I'll redline it.
Yeah, thanks.
Great. So
I
we
have
just
no
need a
problem with
second,
that.
please.
Anybody else have a problem with that?
Second.
Okay.
All right, thank you. Appreciate it.
Yeah, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Beautiful. All right. So are you running the meeting, Al? Or would you like me to? Are you continuing?
Yeah,
Okay. 3B. I'll just continue.
I'll tell you if you're doing the wrong thing.
Can I have the gavel, please? Just kidding.
With pleasure.
No. Okay, so item 3B, which is the minutes from October 15th board meeting. If there's any changes or if anyone would like to make a motion to approve.
You're okay with that?
I'd make a motion to approve.
Second.
Thank
All
you.
in favor?
Aye.
Great.
I'm excited about the geocentric stuff we're building.
Yeah.
It's going to be awesome. Seriously.
Fantastic. All right, so next, item 3C, are September financials, which I explained to the board as we move forward in this current fiscal year. We're going to be reviewing we're going to be almost 2 months behind on our financials just based on the timing. We were running into really crunch time to get the financials turned around in 3 days or 4 days sometimes, and then that's not obviously enough time. So September is our year end, so these are preliminary numbers. We meet with the auditor tomorrow, but going forward, you can see where we landed based on our estimates, and we still, are still going through. We did receive some revenues that came in that will be reflected in the final numbers after we go through our audit, which would be hopefully in February. You'll see that.
If you just send me the ledgers I like to look at so I can see all the detail stuff.
Yes.
Please.
Yeah. We'll get that to you. That's hard to get through once we.
I know they have to
all
do all
that
the stuff. I
extra
understand.
so,
Yeah, I just,
good.
it helps me understand what I'm looking at.
Any questions or is there any comments? Otherwise, we just look for a motion to approve the September financials.
Need a motion.
Motion to approve.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Very good. Thank you. All right. So now we are on to 3D, which is we want to give you all our program updates. And we're going to start with Old School Square. programming and activation for October, and as we moved into November, some upcoming to November and December, what's happening at Old School Square, and then we'll go through the DDA elements as well.
Okay, I'm going to let Mariska start since we had a record-breaking opening at the Cornell Art Museum this month, or this past month. Okay, go ahead.
It was awesome. I do have to say that. It was amazing. It blew me away, too. It was incredible. We had quite a number of people come, 781 people. We had significant donations, almost $400 in donations. We did really well. We had museum store sales. We had a huge glass community attendance, which was tremendous. We had quite a number of artists came from St. Pete, from Naples, from Italy. One gentleman in the blue, we happened to be visiting from Italy, and he came. We also had a group outside who was doing some glass blowing demos, and they were raising money for Asheville because some of those artists were from Asheville and had been displaced during all the flooding. So it was very successful all in all. Huge, can't ask for more. So going forward, we're doing a hot glass panel discussion with Rob Stern and Brenna Baker. They're both from Blown Away. And Joanne Burkow, who is the Benzaiten founder, had a great meeting with her, and she's very excited about a partnership with us or some kind of additional collaboration as we go. We had a WPTV event. WPTV event there at Benzaiten, which was great because we got to talk about the exhibition, and we also got to show folks how the glass is actually made, which made it more exciting. So it was great for us, great for them. That date is to be determined. Those are the two artists that are participating. And then we're doing a South Florida studio showdown that's going to happen at Benzaiten. So some of the glass artists that were in hot glass are going to be put there and going against each other to create glass on December 13th. I'll send you more information on that as I get it.
Did we sell some glass too? Didn't we sell some glass pieces, or
there was a chandelier that was sold by Benzaiten, and we will be receiving a portion of that sale.
Did they confirm what they were going to do for us, or no, not yet? It's still in the...
We're working on it.
Okay.
I'll let you know when I have a good number.
Yeah, you got it.
Okay.
Or a bad number. Whatever the number
it's a
is.
good
It's
number.
Always good.
It'll be a good number. Yeah,
good.
it's positive.
Appreciate it. Again, that's a great... That's a wonderful... Just shows what you're doing.
It's fantastic, and there's been a lot of interest in the price list, and artists are getting phone calls from our visitors. We've had people come from Fort Pierce who happened to see the TV spot and came to the exhibition. That's not normal. You know, we get people from Miami are coming up.
I think some of that happens too when we team up with the other municipalities. Like when Lake Worth and Delray come together, it's not just Delray. When Delray and the Beatles come together, it's part of that. It really
it's really easy to stay really local and to just keep focusing really local. But in a situation like this, we really needed to spread out and branch out to across the state internationally. And, you know, it was a great, great thing.
Can I just jump in too?
Yes.
I want to give Mariska a big round of applause because she was procuring this and putting this installation during the hurricane. So, and most of our artists were coming from the West Coast.
Thank you, Mariska.
Took a few minutes off of her life for sure.
I still have some PTSD because of that. I just want you to know. Yeah. So it's okay. I'm getting better. It's okay. It's all good.
Good job.
Anyway, I'm looking forward and looking at new things for 25. So we're doing the Icons of Art in February. Those are the mosaics coming from Italy. Mosaic student work, which is amazing. And then we're doing Mirror Mirror. It's an all-female art exhibition that's happening in March for females, International Female Women's Month. And we have a spotlight reflection. So the whole thing is going to be about reflecting the artists, how artists reflect the world around them. So it's kind of a whole reflective thing happening in March. And then I have big plans. Dorothy Gillespie is an artist who passed away in 2012, but her son is carrying on her vision. She was an incredible artist, way ahead of her time. Opened a studio in Greenwich Village in 1946 as a woman. That was pretty much unheard of. She is a metal artist, was a metal artist, and has a tremendous amount. She was extremely philanthropic because she started the Dorothy B. Gillespie Foundation, which donates art and also loans art out. So we're looking to do some sort of a sculpture garden in front of the museum, and in addition to doing a beautiful installation in the center atrium and then showing her work on the lower level. Not happening till October because it's going to take some time to put this together. Some of the art is coming from New York, some of it is already here. It's going to be a little bit of a collaboration with her son who is doing this with us, but it's a great opportunity for us to work with a foundation. And as we go into our nonprofit role, we really need to be more involved in this kind of educational thing. She's tremendous. I actually saw her work. The way I first saw it is I went to the Boca Innovation Campus, and they have a huge installation in an atrium that's probably twice the size of this room, and all the metal pieces are hanging from the ceiling. So of course I envisioned the atrium being full of these immediately, and took a photo of the info panel. That's why info panels are important. Took a picture of that, reached out to her son, and now collaborating with her son. He came to visit me the other day. It's great. It's going to be a great event. And then Sip and Paint, Paint the Town Pink, which is fantastic, working with Vera on this. She was our sole sponsor for this event. And we sold 47 tickets, $2,500 in revenue, which was great. We're going to be seeing about $1,000 of that, and we're giving $500 to the Susan G. Komen. That's after expenses. That's with Vera's support. So thank you very much for that.
Awesome.
Thank you, Vera.
Yes. It was a great way, Vera's idea, to actually activate the vintage gym with art. It was wonderful, and we hope to do it again very soon.
Yes, very soon.
Yeah.
Thank you.
It's great. Thank you.
Thanks,
Awesome.
Mariska. So continuing on other parts of Old School Square campus, we have our Twilight Tribute Series, which is starting off in a couple of weeks. November 21st is the first one, the third Thursday of the month. That's going to be a Coldplay tribute. We have $10 tickets, $50 VIP, and we've got bands, thanks to Daniel, booked out through now May. We just got added the Dave Matthews tribute band in May. So we have tribute bands booked out through May of next year.
This is a great series. I'm just telling you.
Yes, I'm super excited.
These people that you have, I've seen them live. Fantastic lineup.
Oh, good. Yeah, good. And No Doubt and the Blondie tribute are really the most popular at this point. People are really excited about
I
that.
lived in Virginia for a while. I'll let you figure it out.
As far as the marketing at Old School Square, I broke this out separately from the DDA just to give you guys a good perspective on what's happening on our platforms for Old School Square. Our contact list is now up to 3K. We have a 52% average open rate on our weekly emails. We get about 18,000 emails opened every month. As far as social media, we're also up to 6K followers across the board for our Facebook and Instagram. Our impressions or engagements were down last month as compared to the month before, just because summer was our big push in at Old School Square, and October was a little bit slower as far as the events and things happening. We didn't put as much digital advertising
Restaurant
in October.
month probably too, right? That played a factor.
No, because that's DDA. This was Old School
Oh,
Square
yeah,
stuff.
gotcha.
Yeah.
The 52 was that was just the Old School Square.
Yeah, this is just Old School Square numbers.
Because when we did DDA, I want to say over a year ago, there was a 40% open rate for DDA emails. So to go to 52 with this,
so
is great.
it goes down. This is a newer, so it's a newer platform, right? We just got email about a year ago, and what happens is you're building that list based off of people that really want to sign up. So they're really opening those emails. Whereas you get to what the DDA is now 25,000 email list, that open rate's going to go down a little bit, but it's still pretty significant. It's like 44%. Public relations, once again, the number is very solid as far as getting in the news. We're constantly in the news for Old School Square. This is really just about keeping that engine going and keeping Old School Square top of mind. Website, our website that we've built, the temporary website's getting about 15,000 page views a month, average more than a minute and a half time spent on the website. And you can see just some of the events that are, top of mind. The Cornell Art Museum page, that is a specific page on the website, that is one of our number one pages that people visit when they go to Old School Square. website. This is a look at the events at the square and just kind of showing you based off of the dollars and kind of what we were doing last year as opposed to this year. We had fewer events this year. That means fewer visitors on the campus. I mean, we're still holding pretty steady, but it does show you when that place is not constantly activated, it does, fewer people are on campus, which, makes sense. And this is a look at what we're going to be programming over the next couple of months, both privately and at the DDA. The red is either a DDA partnership or we produce specifically. Ollie at FAU is a partnership with them to bring in this lecture series. Cocoa Market, we have it a couple of times, both in November and December. The Hunter for Christmas tree lighting is December 3rd, and while that's not our event that we produce, the city produces at that, we have decided to activate the 300 and 400 blocks of Atlantic Avenue this year because the city is not going to be activating those blocks, and it's very important for our business owners. So this is just a look at all the events, the weekly events, recurring. The Green Market's back, our most popular event in downtown. People love the Green Market. Wanted to just give you guys an update on the rebranding of the square. This is just a brief recap of what happened at that workshop. The DDA and Old School Square, obviously we met to discuss the future marketing of Old School Square. An agreement was made for the DDA to develop branding materials to market OSS as a branded house. Once that final brand is approved, the DDA will work with OSS operating entities to market OSS in its entirety. And you all met Maureen, who is our designer in partnership with us. She's going to be building that branded house. Yeah,
she was really good.
She's awesome. And then this is a look at the timeline that we're looking at moving forward. So right now she's in additional logo design. She's tweaking those designs, coming up with new stuff. And she, I check in with her. I'm like, how are you doing? She's like, I'm doing good. So she's in that process right now. We hope to have branding elements created for each venue by mid-December. And then we put kind of X for January as far as going back to the DDA, but coming back to you all and going back to the City Commission for that brand approval. And then upon approval, if everything goes as planned, we hope to launch in February of next year. Okay, now moving on to the DDA side, and I would like to bring up Miss Danielle Rosenberg. She's very excited about speaking in public. Even though there's only like 5 people in the room, she's breaking out in hives.
Glad everybody left.
No, stop.
400 people watching online.
No! Don't tell me that.
So I've asked Danielle to do this. Danielle's generally like behind the scenes, but
Yes,
she works hard and feverishly to make our special events happen for the DDA. So I wanted to give her the opportunity to share all the great things that she's doing too.
Thanks.
Good job.
Thanks. Okay, so part of my job is to plan the events like Savor the Avenue and Art and Jazz on the Ave. We do this event 4 times a year in 4 different neighborhoods of downtown. And I would say the reason we do it is to bring foot traffic to those businesses in the different areas that don't usually get to see the amount of people on a night that's not generally as busy. So this event was on Beachside. We had 2 live bands. We had a mural artist. We had 2 different dance performances, one by Creative Souls Dance and another one by Southern Dance. We had the little 4-year-olds come out. It was really cute. And then as well as just a bunch of kids activations. It was super fun. We had 20 vendors, and I would say that it was very successful. So our attendance was 2,100 people from Placer. And yeah, I would say that it's the attendance has just gone up year over year for all of our events.
Winning.
Next.
So we changed the footprint on this one, remember?
Oh yeah, we moved it down to the end of the block, and I would say that the businesses were super excited about it. Sazio sold out of pizza, so that was super cool for them.
Yep.
Asked me if they should stay open longer, and I said you have
Yes, yes. Yeah, they were all very excited about it. Our investment is about $18,000 for this specific event, and the economic impact was around $78,800. And yeah, so I'm getting ready to start planning Art and Jazz on the Ave for Pineapple Grove in January, and then West Atlantic in February, and then Savor the Avenue in March. And we are looking for sponsors, so if you guys know anybody, please send them our way. And yeah, so if you have any ideas, let me know.
And that's on
Great job, Danielle.
Nice
Yay.
job. And is that part of the sponsorship package?
Yes. Yes, I'm going to talk a little bit about that.
Right. So Art and Jazz. So just on that number, and we haven't received the city invoice for the Art and Jazz. We receive those after all of the Art and Jazzes are over. So we'll have to project based on the estimates for those events. So
the
that'll be a little bit
DDA
more.
investment number may change.
Correct. Yeah.
Yeah, and that just showed that's Art and Jazz night, and the Pizza Rustica ran out of pizza, Sazio ran out of pizza, so it was a very successful night for all of those those shops, right?
Good problem for the DDA to bring a business.
That's right. Okay, so this is a look at the DDA email blast, and as you can see, Vera, we had talked about that contact list, well over 22,000. The average open rate's about 44%, and we get about 30,000 emails opened every month, and that's higher depending on how many emails we send out. But social media, we have very strong numbers in social media. That 1 million plus impressions that we can get that in 1 month is very solid, and that's kind of our goal every month. We don't always hit it, but when we can get a viral post, it really helps with those. And the engagements are up 100% up on engagement. That's the people that are liking, commenting, and that means people saw it and they're engaging with our content. Public relations, once again, we're all over the news. The top to the left where you see Laura, that was a 2-minute piece that a photographer came out from CBS 12 and did just a 2-minute sights and sounds, and there was no reporter, just strung a bunch of stuff together, and it was beautiful. It was basically a commercial for Art and Jazz in an 11 o'clock newscast, and it was a very solid get for us. So
where can we
no
download
notice
that?
With no notice. Yeah.
Where can we download that or find that clip?
I'll send it to you.
That'd be great.
Yep, I'll send it to you.
Thank you.
And so, you can't pay for this kind of coverage. Just the TV and radio coverage that we get in 1 month is worth, well over 10 grand. And we get, billions of people online that are looking at our content and, lots of ad coverage. As far as our website, 21K page views, about less than a minute and a half spent on our on our site, and then you can see once again Halloween, the Resolvers, Cocoa Market are the pages that they're most interested in. Visitor Information Center. I'm going to bring up BJ Sklar, and I think BJ has a little news. I don't know if you all know.
Yeah, we saw something.
Laura's going to share it.
Yeah. Okay. So, you want to go first, Nora?
You can go first.
Okay. So I would like to formally announce that we are sad to, and I'm sad to announce this. I'm all choked up. That VJ Sklar has decided to transition into her next phase of her journey, and will be moving or has moved to Tampa. So she's going to be leaving us, and we are very, very, very sad to see her leave. And BJ has created a new visitor information center for Delray Beach and created a level of service that is hard to replace. And we'll be working with her to help us find that transition person, and hopefully sooner than later, so she can move on to doing all those great things that she wants to be with her family. But we're really sad to see her leave. And with that, she is staying on until we find that replacement, which will be hopefully within the next month, 45 days.
I'm so sad to see you go, but I'm happy you're going to retire and move on to the next phase.
Yes. interesting chapter coming up.
But you can't leave until you find us equal. You have to find us someone like you.
Thank you. Thank you. It's a big compliment. Okay, so on that note, it has been a pleasure working with all of you and the staff and elevating the experience at the Visitor Center, making sure that the people that are involved there are trained and are doing the best job in terms of promoting Delray Beach. We are 27 volunteers strong. And once again, we are open 9 to 5, 7 days a week. And so making sure that shifts are covered, making sure that phone calls are made so that they have updated information to share with everybody that walks in the door has been a very big part of my role. So, as you can see here, the hurricane definitely had an impact on many different areas of Florida, but we did in fact close the visitor center for a few days because of that. But we were still very happy, obviously, to see our visitor load. We are going to start to see more people that are coming in from around the country and around the world. We're already seeing those numbers increase. And we're excited about that prospect. But also be very clear that we really have a tremendous amount of locals that continue to come in and use our services, whether it's stopping into the actual visitor center or using our website. We certainly have put ourselves on the map. And not only my position at the visitor center, but I also oversee all of the event volunteers that are used for all of our different events as well. So we are over 30 strong with the people that are taking the time to make a difference volunteering here for us. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, BJ. Awesome.
Okay. Economic development. I mean, really, everything we do is economic development. But this is, some of the things that we've done specific this month. We have a new and noticed page on our website. We were kind of noticing that it was difficult to keep up with all of the new businesses that were coming in town. So Laura got in touch with our web people to figure out how can we have a page that automatically populates and puts all the new businesses, because once Liliana is entering in like, hey, this business is new, then it would populate on this page. So we have that now, which you'll notice right on the front page when you go to downtowndelraybeach.com, and it just basically pops up all the new businesses. You'll see there's new dress shops in Pineapple Grove, Turn Studio and Una Bell. Those are brand new right there in Pineapple Grove. New art galleries, some new spa concepts, Chow, which is a new retail store as well. So a lot of new businesses popping up in downtown Delray just in time for season.
I think that's great. Just to be like this, these new businesses are coming in cold and no one knows who they are, and to be able to use our influence to help promote them again, I think that was very smart. So I like that.
It also highlights any change. So if a change of address, so for instance, Amar moved. They are existing, but they moved and have a new location. So that adds to the noticed in this page as well. So
yeah, and we've been very strategic about making sure that we're following up with those businesses, trying to do as many social posts on them as well. For instance, the Amar moving, all we did was post a picture of Nicholas and his daughter and her husband in front of the new location. This picture got like 2,000 likes just on Instagram, 127 comments, 700. So it's what people really want to see from us is what's happening in downtown, what's new, how can I find out? And so we're trying to be that that place for them to go and find that information. Advocacy is also another big thing that, Laura really takes the bull by the horns on this with the in lieu parking. I thought that workshop with the city was really productive. The DDA and some board members got up and spoke, and it was a really great meeting. They're going back to the drawing board with that ordinance, but it was a very productive meeting, and we got, the downtown businesses got to be heard in that. The Swinton Atlantic meeting, Laura and I were there the other night. It was also, once again, a communication thing where we're telling people this is happening in downtown, and a bunch of residents came out, and it was a really good way for people to give their feedback. Also, sidewalk cafes. Laura has been, she was driving to work the other day, and I see her outside with Nico at Deeks, and, trying to make sure that we're figuring out this sidewalk cafe thing that's going down right now. Communication, we had a meeting with the hotels 2 weeks ago that we met with all of our downtown hotels. We're having a gallery meeting, or we just had a gallery meeting as well, and we're meeting with all of our restaurants and merchant meeting tomorrow. So any of those meetings that you guys would like to come to, we'd love to have you, but it's basically just really getting granular on meeting with each of our, retail restaurant segments in the downtown to speak directly to them about what they need from the DDA.
I know I got the emails on those. I just want to check my schedule. There's one at 9 and one at 12 and one at 2?
No, one at 9 and one at 2. Yeah, the 9 a.m. is the merchant meeting at Candleland, and the restaurant meeting is at 2 p.m. at Throw Social.
Yeah.
Perfect. All right,
And the merchant is
tomorrow.
Can be any merchant, can be business, it could be really any business in downtown. So if you're a restaurant, you can only go at 9 o'clock, that's fine too.
Yeah.
Our restaurant meeting is really more specific, geared toward restaurant issues. So
Yeah, I was just trying to make sure I had them right in my calendar.
If you guys drive from the interstate to down West Atlantic in the evenings, you'll see something very bright as you're driving that way.
It helps a lot.
It
Because the lights
does.
there
It looks
don't
beautiful.
produce any light, honestly.
It makes a huge difference.
Just to
So those
see.
those are new lights that were installed by the DDA, 125 poles that were wrapped in pure white rope lights. That it's West Atlantic from Swinton all the way to West 12th Avenue. So basically all the way to the interstate. It's costing us installation, and this year's part of the contract is about $24,000. The total 3-year contract with upkeep and everything is about $47,000.
Money well spent, my
Yeah, it is. It's a beautiful, beautiful new addition.
And safety. I mean, honestly,
no,
like
yeah.
really, when I
Ambiance,
drive off
but it is-
95, it's so dark on that
yeah.
side with no lights, and the lights are
right with
like
the vacant,
yellow.
with the vacant
Yeah.
lots, it makes it worse.
So coming up, we have Shop Small Business Saturday on November 30th. So make sure to spread the word about all of our local independently owned businesses in downtown. December 3rd is the 100-foot tree lighting. And as I mentioned, the DDA is going to be activating the 300 and 400 blocks just to extend that footprint. The road will already be closed. So we're just going to be, activating with some
Do we have a
Danielle.
silent disco going? I know one year they had a silent disco involved.
The
It was
city
pretty
does
cool.
that.
Oh, the city does that.
City
one?
does that,
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
So they're activating
So it's
Swinton.
like a partnership. Yeah, so it's just like a part of it, and we're kind of continuing.
Right.
it
We're
just so it
continuing
doesn't-
Railroad tracks
the
to bring it down.
festival.
All right.
Yeah, so that
Awesome.
so that activates those blocks.
We
that
did the
kinda get
train
left
last
out.
year.
Yeah.
We did a train and the music with it. So.
And then First Friday Art Walk is December 6th. That's going to have a holiday theme with carolers going up and down in downtown Delray for our art galleries. And then finally, this has been a long time coming, but we're really excited to have a new partnership deck / sponsorship deck for the DDA. And we have some new offerings in here. So before we had kind of broken them out in individual events, and so we tried to streamline it and make it a lot simpler, but also offer everything from $12,000 a year to $500 a year, depending on what businesses can afford. So this is in your Dropbox. I'm asking all of you to please send this out to anyone you know who might be willing to partner with the DDA. We do bring a lot of value to our partners, and I hope that that's clear in this deck. If you have any questions or you think something needs to be clearer, please let us know, and please share so we can get some sponsors.
This is important. This is how we make up $200,000
Right.
to get us to the million, because we only got 800. We want a million too.
Well, this is just DDA. So
Old School Square is
Old
coming.
School Square is a separate one, and I am doing we are doing an Old School Square deck as well. We already have an Old School Square deck, but we're going to be updating it just because we have some new offerings.
But you can still
Yeah.
push it. Yeah.
Okay.
So please share. Sponsor the DDA, sponsor the arts.
There you go.
Thank you. That's it.
You said this is
Thank
in
you.
the
That was
Dropbox?
really good. Thank you.
Where? It didn't come in with this meeting.
Yeah,
It's in there now. I put it in right before this meeting. So just so you guys have it. But I can send it to you individually too.
Okay.
Yeah, I think you gave me the
Then
hard
send me that
copy when I
video
saw
Right.
it last time.
And I
I'm like,
and I
I
printed
saw
it
it.
out.
Send me the TV
Can you
video
just
for
send?
that.
Can you just
Thanks.
send it out in like an email attachment? You know, I hate drop boxes, but I'd use them. Yeah.
It's so big it won't
Yeah.
come into
And
your
oh,
email.
won't. Okay.
You have
But it
to-
should be
I
on
can-
our website, right? We can send a link once we upload it to the website.
Yeah.
We can do that.
Yeah,
so
it
it'll
is
be
on the
there.
website,
So
you're
that'll be
right.
easy for you
Yeah.
to do.
That's it.
Awesome.
Okay.
Thanks,
Thank
team.
Are we at comments?
Great. Or if you have any comments on the
There's three of us.
3D,
Four of us left.
but then now we can go into
Yeah,
into
I've,
comments.
it's executive director, and then the attorney, and then the
Yes.
board.
I'll take
Yeah.
last. So go ahead. Anyone wants to go
So,
first?
I think
so
it's
from
her-
my
executive
perspective,
directors.
from
Okay, go
the,
ahead.
I'll just chime in. No new comments. I appreciate that. This past month has been a little odd, just with the weather issues and some different things that we're having. So I appreciate your support, but I know that I'm going to defer my main comment to our attorney.
He's got his phone out. We're in trouble.
To read it.
He's shooting.
This is a public service announcement. No, just teasing. On next week, Laura, myself, and Big Al from the board are going to be meeting with the city administration to talk about the expectations for engagement and collaboration between the DDA and the city. Not sure what to expect from the meeting, but we'll engage with them in a collaborative way so that we can move forward productively on any issues we have to present to the city for that's in their purview. If you have anything that you feel strongly about that you haven't already mentioned in a meeting or privately to Laura, please mention it to her so that it can be addressed at the meeting. I think this is going to be our opportunity to just, establish a path forward. There's been some miscommunication in the past on different items, some frustration with the level of communication, and it goes both ways, I guess. But I see it one way, and that's you all's way. So I'm going to be there representing you all. So we want to make sure that anything you have, any issues outside of things, like I said, that we already aware of, we want to make sure we bring that up. And the communication piece is going to be big as far as going forward so that, there's no misunderstandings in the line of communication. I think Jeff is here. I think he is, and you can correct me on this, is our main point of contact with the city's administration at this point. So he's going to be, unless something's changed, going to be our main person of contact for, relaying those issues. And, he's spoken publicly at our meetings as well. So just want to make sure you're aware of that. If you have anything you want to bring up, mention it to Laura or myself, and we'll make sure those are addressed. Don't mention it to Big Al, because we don't want to have any issues with that. But Big Al will.
He's like, I spoke to these board members.
But Big Al, I know, I know Big Al will represent you all very well, and some of the things that he's seen in the couple months that he's been the chair, and prior to that time, and his past experiences, I think, going to be beneficial.
I've had one of those meetings before.
I didn't know that, but I assume that you did. So your experience in this is going to be appreciated for everyone, and I say that
Well,
without.
I'd like to bring up the fact that when the city staff is at our meetings and when they're kind enough to spend their time and talk to us, we need to be exceptionally aware of how we treat them and what we say to them and how we act. Yeah, as I'm getting the signal from the back. And I think that perhaps we overstepped our bounds a little bit and actually triggered this meeting. So,
Well, I think that the passion from the board has been appreciated by the city. I think, though, that I don't want you all to curtail that passion that you have for the downtown and your reason for being on the board. You were put on this board for a reason, and that's to assist the downtown and the city of Delray Beach. So I think it's important that you continue to express your passion for this downtown and what you believe in. I don't think, at least this is my personal opinion, that the board members have gone so far afield in their comments or commentary that it has created an issue. But I think we just need to come to a more of a melding of the minds, just so that everybody's clear on the intentions. Because I think speaking to each of you individually, kind of understanding your intentions and your passions for the downtown, I think it's important that everyone understand that it's purely for the downtown. It's not necessarily individual advancement or what have you, because some people may not know where you're coming from. So I think that's part of the misunderstanding that we have as human beings sometimes, that when we talk to each other, we're not necessarily hearing everything we're saying and where that's coming from.
Well, I think that board members are not staff, and board members on the DDA talk to city staff when they come, not actually, city management. So city management is very protective of their staff, and
they should be.
The staff is not used to have to answer to other boards, they answer to other staff. And I think that the word passion here is a good word. I think we are a passionate board.
Absolutely.
And, I've had 2 years off and then back on the board, and this board is no less passionate than the board I left. So when we want answers, we want answers. When we want and when we have things to say, we say them.
And I won't speak for the city, but the other side of that, if you want answers and the city's not ready to provide those answers, they have the ability to say, we're going to review the matter and get back with you. And that has to be okay from you all standpoint. So I think it like I said, it kind of goes both ways with the understanding of, what each group is doing. So I think the meeting's going to bring some light into that arena, and I know Big Al's gonna be very
I promise
good in
I'll
that.
represent you all. Yeah. Well, I like city management, so for
I do
me,
too.
Yep, it'll be a good time had by all.
Absolutely.
Maybe. Okay.
Thank you.
So,
Anybody have anything to say on the board? I know.
I got here an hour early and sat outside and put all my thoughts together. First of all, thank you for a wonderful meeting, and thank you, Big Al, for running the meeting. I wanted to first, these are some things that I've been out in the community. I don't think anybody knows where I end up, but Big Al has mentioned that I am everywhere. To a degree, I am. First, I attended the softball game that was this past weekend. That was put on by, I believe it was Mr. Fidel. And I want to say thank you to Mr. Fidel for putting that together and sponsoring it. I know that Brian as well as Aaron were also sponsors in putting that together. I love to see when the community comes together to support our police and fire departments. And, you know, I know that sometimes certain folks in our community get a bad rap, but I've been to a few of the events that have been put on by Mr. Fidel, and I believe that his heart for Delray is unwavering. So I want to say thank you to him, and hopefully someone will get that message to him.
I'm sure he's watching.
You sure he's watching? Oh, okay. I didn't know he watched. All right. Saturday, there's a few events that are going on. There's a warehouse market at the Arts Warehouse. There's the Wandering Books at the Candle Making Store. And then Arts Garage, I think it's Friday night. Arts Garage and Spada Museum are doing ranking taking at Arts Garage. The reason why I say this is because we need our locals to rally behind the events that are happening in the city. And we need our locals to book early. We have a whole new group of folks. I started to see the trucks pull in those cars from the folks up north that are coming down, and we welcome all of them to Delray because we love when you come, because that's when everybody puts on the best shows. So we appreciate everyone coming in, but we also want to make sure that our locals understand and are aware that we are part of the fabric of this community, and we need to also support on a regular basis, even though it's in season, because a lot of us go into hibernation when they come. We want you to come back out, and we want you to join in the events. Cocoa Market is redoing their event on Sunday. I saw Coco yesterday at the beach while I was walking, putting my feet in the water in the sand. A lot of people out at the beach yesterday. It was a gorgeous day, and the waves were out. Some of the surfers were out there too. Last thing, I attended the travel and tourism event for Palm Beach County. I didn't go as a representative of our board, but I did glean a lot of information, and one of the main focus for the year from that organization is how are they going to capitalize on AI? Because they did a little, and I told Laura this information, they did a little example of how AI works when people are putting together an itinerary for travel now, because people go into AI and put in ChatGPT, build an itinerary for this many days, this is how much my budget is, blah, 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 and it all pulls it together. Then they did it as an example to find out what's the best beach to visit in Palm Beach. And so it said Palm Beach, then it said Singer Island, and then it said Delray Beach. But they had no idea how those three popped up to the top. So their whole goal is to figure out how AI is triggered to get certain elements to the top. Just like when you buy a Google ad or what have you, they want to figure out what goes into that decision-making process to bring it out. I am attending an AI session to learn about AI as an older person to figure this out as well. But I wanted to let all of you know that those are the things that are going on around the city. Last thing, Quentin, I see your hand. That's why I turned my head.
It's not bad.
My Delray Rocks football team, 10U, has made it to the Super Bowl, okay? So they will be playing in Miramar under the Friday night lights, okay? It's $20 for adults, $10 for students. So if you are doing nothing on Friday night, drive out to Miramar and watch the 10U take on the Miramar Wolverines, okay? So it's going to be great. Hope to see you guys there.
Thanks, Vera.
Just to follow up on the AI, I attended a couple AI seminars yesterday, and that was the exact issue that the presenters raised, that it's one thing, you have to get the prompts right when you put it in there, but on the other side, what are their prompts that they use to generate the answer? And the presenter raised the point that when you, because this was, you know, businesses bringing in AI tools to utilize for the business, whatever the business may be, you have to ask that particular company, because there's a ton of AI companies out there now. It's not just ChatGPT, it's a ton of them. Ask them what their protocols are as far as once you put the prompts in, how do they decide those questions? So they have an answer because they put the algorithm into the program, but that's who you have to ask that. And that's a great question. I didn't think about it in that way until he brought it up, but that's a great point.
They also stated that they're going to be spending 25% more of their budget in advertising for the Palm Beaches, which is great, because then hopefully that'll have a larger reach than our actual footprint, and maybe they can coincide. Two of the places that they're going to start focusing on, Dallas and Houston. So that's another area that is, kind of in a different direction from where they normally, advertise going north. Now they're going west. So we'll see how that impacts us as well. That's all I have, and I appreciate the time. Thanks.
All right, I'll jump on. Jeff, thank you for the memo on the code enforcement. I appreciate you getting back to us after our workshop. I just had 2 questions on it, and you don't have to get back to me now. Just like you can get back to us by next month. But it talks about the key points in the summary, and number 3 is, I'm going to read it. The Code Enforcement Division's Operating Guidelines Manual, referred to in Chapter 37 as the City of Delray Beach Code Compliance Policies and Procedures Manual, as noted in that section of the code, it may be amended. And then it goes on to say the Code Enforcement Clean and Safe Administrator are working on updating the manual. Their work updates started in the 4th quarter of the previous year, and they're working on the revisions. So my question, and get back to me, is when we look at the Code of Ordinances in the city, it says there's policies and procedures. They can be amended, but I doesn't think that means you can take them away for a year and have no policies and procedures and then tell people you're amending them. You keep the ones up, you make the amendments, they get approved, and they get changed. So it's just very confusing. And again, that's why I'm going to go through my minutes and have to listen to the meeting again. But their key points don't make sense to me. So we'll revisit that another time. And then, public art, I know we talked about it last month. I would like to put it on the agenda for next month just to get more or less an inventory, what we've got, what needs work, like condition and a priority list, and maybe some funds to be dedicated. And we'll just get it next month. I don't want to take any more time, but just give us a little something.
I just want to tell you it's going to be Pineapple Grove art that we're talking about.
Yeah, exactly.
We're talking about the entire downtown.
Yeah. Who is responsible for the rest of the downtown art? Generally the people that put it in, right?
That's a great question.
Maybe we'll look into the stuff in our district as well. But let's start with Pineapple Grove. Let's get that looking nice because there's some rust and things, and figure out, schedule on that. Just because, again, I want to keep that stuff. It rusts, it falls apart. Like the metal literally deteriorates. Then let's see, City of Delray Beach. We're good there. Oh, garbage. I brought this up last time, Jeff Forrest in the back, my favorite. I love you, man. I want to revisit in the DDA how we can work with Tropical Smokehouse. They're in West Atlantic corridor, new business coming in. They don't have a garbage area. They're looking to try to come up with a solution because it's one of these non-conforming properties that's sandwiched between 2 others with no back alley and no front of street, and they can't put their garbage on the sidewalk. So we're trying to work. Right now they have to put it on the side in front of the apartment complex in like a normal garbage can. We're trying to work with the folks where I understand Dunkin' Donuts is, or at least the property owner adjacent, the old Bears. The Tropical Smokehouse people will pay to put the trash compactor there and like a portion of services, but it'll work for both properties. And I know whoever's looking to do work on I understand future Dunkin' Donuts or former Bears property. I just want to make sure the city's aware and can somehow facilitate that even sooner through some conversations, because we have a business trying to open that doesn't really have a garbage solution. And again, part of Clean and Safe, we want to make sure these guys can operate, because they literally have nowhere to put their garbage necessarily, except on the 2nd street facing the residential.
We'll have to look in there, because I'm sure there was a past practice that happened there.
They put it in front of the residential on the other side of the street here, where they have to go out the back, go behind the apartments, and then put it in front by a parking spot.
Okay, so this would be. I mean, there's a similar situation happened on 3rd Avenue in Northeast 3rd Avenue with 2 properties there. So maybe they happen to be brothers. So maybe this is something that we can do.
I just not trying to get in touch with the property owner or the tenant. I know maybe they've been plans in with the city. I'd just love some facilitation, because the owners of the business trying to open, are just want to come up with a solution.
We can sidebar on that. Maybe we can work on that.
Yeah, that'd be great. I brought it up once before, but again,
Waste management shares dumpsters with people.
This is the first time. I'm sorry.
If it's on private property, you have to agree with the thing. Oh, no problem. Yeah. I
didn't hear about that
No
before.
problem. So again, pop it on for next month. Just a thing. And again, moving on with my West Atlantic Avenue list, the Christmas is coming, and Jeff and DDA love to work with the Tropical Smokehouse people to figure out, they're not going to be open by then. They're on their 3rd or 4th iteration of trying to get their plans through the city. And I'd like to have them work with the DDA, work with the city to maybe be allowed to have people in the backyard and somehow activate the property a little bit if there's a special permit or something they need, just to make sure everyone's on the up and up. It's for the West Atlantic Avenue Christmas celebration over there.
Oh, the December 19th.
December 19th. So I'd like to somehow just, if they want to participate, I don't know how to tell them, because if they don't have a CO, and again, Jeff, you can figure it out, I don't know how they can open the doors and let people go in the backyard. I think they're going to provide some free food and stuff, that they want to share for the kids, maybe some desserts. Again, they're connected with Cynthia Ridley, and I was hoping to connect them with the DDA and maybe the city to figure out more ways to activate that property that's right next to the amphitheater. Library partnerships. I know they mentioned Daniel Hartwell works with the library. They do Beatles videos. It's a wonderful West Atlantic Avenue asset. Anything we can do to help support the library and drive some traffic there, whether it's events we're doing at OSS and do a satellite thing there that ties to it, just to make it more of a city event, move traffic there. And I know they have security issues there, I've heard in the past. I'd love to see if there's some ways, again, just people outside and some things. Again, you can talk to them about it. It's when they're in front of the city getting budget. Yeah.
Can I ask you about the library? So I've been attending sessions at Boynton Library because they had a card making class. This week I'm going to a candle making class in Boynton Library. And I've been to the movie series that they had. The Jewish movie series that they had at the library was phenomenal.
I heard that was great.
Yeah, it was really good. But what is it that you want to see there? Because it's one thing to say we need to do something to it, but is there something that you had in mind?
I'm just leaving it to staff to get creative and think of some ideas maybe.
We work
to
closely with the library on
yeah,
those
and just to work
things.
with I'm saying don't create new events. Work with the events we're doing, maybe like the Beatles on the beach, just to have those synergies and help drive traffic there. And, again, it's a great asset on West Atlantic Avenue that, again, I think as a DDA, I always forget about it until I'm like, dang, the library. And when the guy spoke getting money from the city, he was very articulate and did a good job if you ever want to watch that video. But, it's a great asset. And then my last thing is speaking with Cynthia Ridley for the coming December 19th event. She said gift cards. It's the teens. They like the bikes. Bikes are big. I'm doing some bikes, but,
cards.
$20 gift cards, $40 gift cards, lots of gift cards, because the teens don't want toys necessarily. They like to go to Target or Walmart, and pick out their own stuff. So just put that out there, and then maybe we can do something on our website to help, hey, have a gift card drop off, just for the holidays or
I've
something.
emailed her multiple times about getting back to us with
what
what do you mean?
dates. It's what's happening. How can we help?
All right.
And
Shoot me an email. I'd love to get her with you. But again, just the website promotion saying, hey, drop by the office and put gift cards in the secure thing for the kids.
Yeah,
That'd
we
be
can
cool.
do a lot of stuff.
All right.
Yeah. And I've also reached out to Tropical Smokehouse about meeting with them about events, activating Libby Plaza.
Yeah. Cool. Yeah, awesome. But again, I'm just looking at the December 19th one specifically, at this moment.
Yeah, I didn't even know that was the date. Did you know that was the date?
Yeah, that's on their permit.
We gave
you
them money.
have it. Oh, you have it on the calendar, and there's a lot of things. It's on there.
Done?
That's it. I'm done. Thank
Wow.
you.
I'm all set. Good.
You sure?
I'm sure.
Okay. I have a few, nothing much. I think the DDA staff is amazing. Suzanne, what you do on the web, and then presenting it, incredible. Thank you for controlling the mics. The Art Museum, unbelievable. Just Marusha, just amazing. Danielle, it wasn't so bad today. You did all right.
She's like under the chair all
I know.
She can't wait to run out of here.
Liliana is the unsung hero here with our minutes and everything that gets done, and I don't even know how to vote if it wasn't for you. Anyway, Quentin, you were fun to fight with today. I did go to the baseball game as well, and I saw Vera and Brian supporting the teams was great, and the baseball game was amazing. And our Delray police play ball. I mean, that throw from third to first.
Yes.
I never could do it. And I watched these guys. These guys were incredible. We won, and we were great, and it was great. The art museum opening. I don't want to forget I can't say enough about the current display and previous, and what's left. The wayfinding. Oh, you're okay too. The wayfinding, Mr. City employee, can you update us on what's going on with that? Well, first of all, I'd like to know how things happen in a city where wayfinding with all that money, with all that time, and with all the years spent on it, how we ended up with what we ended up with, and it sort of seemed quiet, and then suddenly it was there. Stuff like that's really important to the city, and it seemed to vanish. I was around when it first got started, and the CRA got first put money forward, and suddenly now it's up, and signage in places where it's being put maybe a little questionable. This is all my personal feeling. I wish I had more input in it. I had input in the development in the beginning, and then, like I said, it just got quiet and disappeared, and now suddenly it's coming around. And there was an RFP for the signage to be manufactured. It came and went, and local companies weren't involved, and I wish they had been. And I just wanted to know when they were going to finish. I can't comment on everything. Well, you don't want to hear my comments, so I'm trying not to.
You have a meeting set up with them, don't you? So you can do it.
I don't have a meeting set up with him. You're going to be at the meeting? Oh, okay. Well, I know he's our point guy, but I know that meeting was called by the city manager, so I just thought that, I'll talk to you some other time then about when the signs are going to be done. Then I'm done. Thank you. That's it?
Hit that gavel.
Okay, the gavel. Well, I gave it to you. You did. Okay.
Motion to adjourn.
Go.
Motion to adjourn?
I did. Motion to adjourn.
Second.
Okay.
Third.
Aye.
All in favor?
Yes.
Aye. Okay.